Well, Sinister were definitely too good, too hot and heavy for Ferox, and a nice 2-0. 7-5, 7-5 on Villa, and Clubhouse was the result. Halfway through the night here for Playday 13. Welcome back, everybody. Of course, Senox, and joined by the lovely, lovely Dev Marta. We've got a huge series, though, coming up very, very shortly. Pittsburgh Knights and Wildcard Gaming are battling it out. Wildcard, of course, want to lock up first place, and for Pittsburgh, they need to get a map one way or another, at the very least, a minimum of one map tonight, if they're going to have a chance of making top four.
In this final week, it is all about that battle for that fourth place. Top three are kind of locked in now. We know Sinister, Akami, and Wildcard are going to take those, but that fourth slot for the playoffs, it could be Knights, it could be Ferox, who we saw play earlier, could even be LFO, who are going to play tomorrow. So Knights, like you say, it's do or die here. They need to take a map, otherwise it's just not possible.
Exactly right. If they can get two maps, it then improves their chances of making the playoffs dramatically, like in a huge manner. We've spoken about it at length off show. Now we can speak about it on the show. But if they were to 2-0 wildcard, if it was to happen, not only would they have the best chances of them making top four, but the likelihood is they'll probably end up playing wildcard again in the playoffs. And, well, if you've just 2-0'd them, you can take confidence going into the playoffs that, hey, we can beat anyone then.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a huge upset. And for Wildcard, there's not so much to lose. So maybe that is possible to happen here for Knights. Now, they are sitting currently at 18 points ahead. Yeah, let's have a look at the lineup and talk about Knights as a whole. These guys are sitting currently in fourth place on 18 points, with LFO and Ferox just behind them on the 15. These guys are quite characterized for a very aggressive playstyle, especially on attack. My favorite thing about watching these guys is as soon as it's like there's some moment, some magic button, and these guys press that button, and then everyone just collapses on their attack onto the bomb site all at once. They explode with this aggression, and it's beautiful to see. But these guys do need to win here. It's been a tough season, bit of back, bit of forth, but there's definitely a possibility here for them.
And on the flip side, Wildcard, they've been the best team this season of Six Masters. Not much of a debate behind that. They've only dropped one map, not a series, but a map all season long. That was to LFO, who themselves will, of course, be playing tomorrow night to see if they can make playoffs. But Wildcard have been so impressive. They've been the best team, and from this point onwards, they're the favorites of winning Six Masters.
Yeah, very much so. They are the most proven team in Six Masters, with the most international success as well, attending the Season 10 Pro League Finals, where they almost beat the eventual Pro League champions, Na'Vi, in a close 2-1. They also went to Six Invitational, but since both of those global events, Wildcard have been significantly reworked. They brought on Pat and Gio, who were very much both new players, both very young players as well, and I've just got to say, both Pat and Gio have really shined here with Wildcard. On top of that, Ethan, the captain, I mean, man's unstoppable. He's been absolutely popping off from week to week. If you need someone to just go in and kill everyone, if you need someone to make a play, Ethan's the man who's going to get it done.
Yeah, I agree. But look, as a whole, they're all proficient. They're all capable of finding entry frags or, game-winning frags or refrags. They can all do it. That's what makes them the best team this season of Six Masters. No doubt about that. The other thing that makes them one of the best teams this season is their very strong and versatile map pool, which, of course, as we sort of draw our attention to the map veto stage of this series between Knights and Wildcard, what are your thoughts going into this one? Because for Knights, at least in my eyes, they've had a lot of mixed results and in some cases less than ideal results, whereas, as we know, Wildcard have won just about everything except one loss on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and the thing from Knights' perspective is, going into this map video, it should be fairly predictable, mainly because Wildcard always ban border. So that's 100%. It's just, they're banned every single game, instant ban. And from Knights, it's pretty cool. They have a couple of different common bans. They've banned Coast a couple times, they've banned Consulate a couple times, they've banned Villa a couple of times, so there's a bit more flexibility there. But the concern then from Knights' perspective is, okay, Wildcard's going to ban border, but what are they going to pick? Because we know that they're good on basically every other map. Not so much info on Cafe, to be honest, but aside from that, I'd say Wildcard is strong on every other map. Maybe that little blip on Clubhouse, as you mentioned, when they lost to LFO, is a weakness, and maybe we'll see Pittsburgh Knights try to target that, but they themselves have had weaknesses on that map as well.
I'm thinking Consulate and Border could very well be our two bans as we get them up onto your screen, and Consulate and Border are indeed our two bans. You mentioned the picks though, and sort of, I guess there's a bit more theory crafting behind that. If I'm going to take a guess, it's going to have to be Cafe and Clubhouse, right? Like, that's just the two maps this season that we've seen so much. Both of these two teams are more than happy to pick and play probably on both of them, and they're obviously in the map pool and readily available.
I've got to say here, though, from Wildcard's perspective, let's go Knights' perspective. They get the first ban. From Knights' perspective, you pick Cafe. It's probably their strongest map, aside from Border, which obviously has been banned. Probably the strongest map is Cafe for Knights, but Wildcard haven't played it this season, so that's a risk, because if you take Wildcard to a map that you have no information on, it means you're going to have to rely on mid-game adaptations. If Wildcard come out to get really strong, which I have no doubt that Wildcard are good on Cafe, like, absolutely no doubt. The last time I've got the result is they had 1 win and 1 draw in the last half of the Pro League. So this is still a decent map for them. From Knights' perspective, I'd actually be hesitant taking it to Cafe, but I really don't know where you're going to take it for Knights. From Wildcard's perspective, let's bring up the picks. From Wildcard's perspective, I feel like they have a bit of mobility here. It's actually going to be Clubhouse for Knights, so a map they've had mixed results on. They beat Ferox 8-7, and they lost to Akami 6-8. And then Villa for Wildcard is a common ban for Knights, and they've lost it twice this season already as well. So I'm liking Wildcard's chances in this series.
But that means for the course of tonight, we went Villa, Clubhouse, Clubhouse, Villa. I love the symmetry there between the series prior and now between Knights and Wildcard. So Clubhouse first up. The fact that it's Knights' pick first up may then give us a big, strong indication as to whether or not they are going to find this map. I don't feel comfortable for them going into Villa at all. You mentioned it's a map that we've seen Knights ban out regularly. They haven't played it at all this season, and Wildcard's Wildcard. So you kind of put 2 and 2 together there and think Clubhouse is going to be the best bet for Knights. It's the only map that Wildcard have dropped this season as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say if they don't win Clubhouse, that's it. Their season's probably done, barring something crazy happening on Villa.
I agree. I don't think it's likely possible for Villa. And the main reason I say that is because from Knights' perspective, right, going into this game, you're thinking, okay, what maps are we going to focus on? Obviously, we focus on Clubhouse because that's what we're going to pick, but what are they going to pick? What are we going to focus on in our scrims? And it's just impossible to predict because Wildcard, they could have picked Villa. I mean, they could have picked Coastline. There was opportunities here that we've seen commonly picked by Wildcard, and Knights can't prepare for every single eventuality. So that gives me the impression that Knights are probably a little bit underprepared going into Villa, similar to what we saw from Ferox earlier tonight, but only time will tell. I agree with you, though. The best opportunity for Knights here to get a map is on a Clubhouse, and they need to get a map in order to keep their chances of getting top 4 alive.
Well, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the poll vote in the side of Wildcard in a heavy fashion. For you guys at home, and well, that is correct. 77% expecting a Wildcard victory, and that's probably about right. I would have maybe taken a few percentages away from Knights and put it into the draw category more so, but you obviously also going to have to factor in some of the Knights fans, etc., are going to be voting, but pretty much spot on there, you'd have to think. And for Knights, they're going to be up against it. It's certainly the case. You can see it in the poll vote. Everyone expecting a 2-0. I'm expecting a 2-0 in favor of Wildcard. And if that then plays out in that fashion, it means Knights, their season will be done.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Clubhouse swing, because Wildcard, yes, they lost this to LFO 7-2 earlier in the season. They picked it twice, though. They played it 3 times, won it 2 out of the 3. For Knights, this is an opportunity. The only opportunity, the final opportunity to make it to the Six Masters playoffs, and they've got to take down the Kings of Oceania. It is Wildcard versus the Pittsburgh Knights on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and you're right. This is going to be the map that is going to give Knights the best opportunity of picking up a map win tonight. So if it's going to happen, it has to happen here on Clubhouse. That's just going to be our first ban. Not too much of a surprise coming out there. I do wonder if we see a bit of Ying play. You know, the comment from Vin and in the interview, he kind of alluded to the fact he was a bit surprised to see Ferox using the Ying so much on Villa. We're going to the same 2 maps. Well, that answers the question for me. Thanks, Knights.
It's funny because I don't see Wildcard as a team that really picks the Ying that much. So Strange ban there for Knights, but I think they're just worried maybe Wildcard has something up their sleeve with it, so they're going to get rid of it nice on and early. Let's have a look at the defensive ban, though. For Knights, are they going to leave in the Kaid? They're going to leave in all these other ones? No, okay, it's just a mirror, so pretty staple stuff here. Funnily enough, mirror isn't super impactful on Clubhouse, but just nice to not have to worry about those setups. Round it out that we do have the Maestro from Wildcard, so it puts a bit less emphasis on bringing that IQ every single round. It puts a bit more emphasis on bringing the IQ every single round because you need to look out for those yokai drones. And I wouldn't be surprised to see both of these teams on the back of that Maestro ban pick a lot of Echo as he's left unbanned and try and use him to make some plays as well.
It's definitely feeling the anticipation going into Clubhouse, though. You know, we keep harping on it, and I don't want to say there's a 0% chance that Knights can find a way to win on Villa. It's just being logical and honest that it's going to be very difficult for them to find a victory on Villa. Now, in terms of the scenario that we've spoken about, the fact that they need to get a map win. That map win for Pittsburgh moves them away from a three-way tiebreaker that could then be a possibility tomorrow. Because obviously we're going to be seeing LFO versus Ferox tomorrow. At the very least, someone has to get 3 points. And if it's Ferox, they've got the tie break. If it's LFO, well, then they're either going to get 3 points or it's going to be a tie, which then means Ferox. So regardless, they need to get a map to move away from that tie break potential. And then if they win a map tonight and say there's a draw tomorrow, they go through.
Yep. That's what Knights are praying for right now. And that's the way that they make playoffs is that neither team 2-0s tomorrow in the Ferox LFO game, and Knights win 1 map here, or Knights wins 2 maps here, and it even further increases their chances as well. But as soon as Knights win 1 map here, LFO also can't make it. So you're not only going to have the Knights fans and the Wildcard fans watching this game, but also the LFO fans and the LFO players themselves just waiting to hope that Knights don't win either of these maps, because as soon as that happens, it locks out LFO's chances at taking that playoff spot.
It does mean, though, you bring up a very valid point. We're saying goodbye to one of these 2 teams. One of them's playing, one of them's not playing. So LFO would be watching nervously, thinking, well, okay, we're going to Clubhouse. If Wildcard win this map, then we can probably breathe a bit easy going into Villa. But for this time, you know, if Knights come out and win this first round on Clubhouse and maybe they just look really good, LFO could be sweating a bit because, as you said, as soon as Knights pick up a map, just one, LFO's done. Their season will be over. And, they would have to... No, sorry. I'll take it back. They could still get 2 wins tomorrow. They'd have to 2-0, wouldn't they? Yes, they would have to 2-0.
But if LFO 2-0 tomorrow, they'll be on 21 points. And if Knights get 1 map
right.
they'll be on 21 points.
I was looking at Elevate, my bad.
Yeah. Knights win the head-to-head as well. So, yeah, as soon as Knights win 1 map here, it doesn't matter what LFO do. They can't make it.
It's a bit harsh, but it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, but you're right. We're saying goodbye to either Knights or LFO tonight. Depending on whether Knights win 1 map, LFO's out of the running. If Knights don't win a map, then they're out of the running. So there's a lot of high stakes going into this game. And, I mean, imagine your last game of the season. You're Knights right now. Your last game of the season is against arguably the best team in the entire league. The most famous team in all of Oceania. And that's a tall order to go into. But also I think it makes you extra determined. And every time we talk to Strider in these post-game interviews, I know he is so determined. I know he was not happy when they dropped a map to LFO. And they want to lock this out. They want to take on Wildcard, give it their all. And Knights, they are the attack specialists. They're starting on the attack here. It's a CCTV cache that will be first on the agenda. And I have no doubts that they're going to give it everything they've got.
I definitely agree with you. And no doubt about that at all. And for Knights on the attack first, I wonder, would you feel more comfortable on the defense first or on the attack? Because if you're on the attack, then I feel like you can at least sort of come at Wildcard here. Try and steal a few rounds and then coast home on the defense.
Still, the canvas is blank at the moment. It's time to get some paintbrushes out and start splashing around, seeing what kind of comes to form. Wildcard, though, not opting to go for that church bomb site, which is more typical, instead going up top here. With Maverick in, it's really going to be Strider we're looking at to open up the CCTV wall onto Kennels. Imorin is an absolute perfectionist here. Look at it, trying to get that perfect... Oh, there you go. I guess that works. It's the Kaid Electroclaw does hold on to that right panel of the construction wall. I believe the mute jammer will cover the second panel, indeed. But no Electroclaw on the Kennels wall, so it doesn't really affect Strider anyway. He'll get to opening this up, and there's no smoke on the defense to thwart his progress. And so far, Knights seeming to be uncontested here, making good progress.
So contested, and then somehow Josh finds an opening frag. Someone we haven't really spoken too much about. New member, of course, for Knights now, playing a couple of, he's played a couple of weeks now, though. It's been, he's not quite the new debutant.
It's the second game, isn't it?
Second game?
Week, wasn't it?
Well, second series.
Series.
Yeah. Okay. Oof. Well, yeah, still. It's not exactly his debut week, though.
But he did come in strong in his debut as well. Lots of impact plays last week when Knights needed it most. Great game against Elevate. Using his concussions from the lifeline to clear out any ADSs. And there's a second pick for Knights here. Ethan going down, 2 high impact players off the board for Wildcard, and Knights have come on strong here. Juicy looking to mince up the floor in cash, but he's concerned about any kind of flank. There is a player in lounge, in fact, ready to... Oh, that is Pat just around the corner here, ready to peek onto him. Juicy does spot him out. Emo taken very low for his troubles as well. 5 players from Knights.
It's the sort of position you'd expect someone like Ippy to be holding and trying to just peek below a castle barricade. Juicy pushes through. Talk about the timing. Just as Pat falls back. Juicy, though, is going to be able to win that exchange. Was immediately traded back from Geo, who falls back up onto rafters. Still a bit of control here, but never mind. You lose Emo, and now you got very little control. Knights are going to take this opening round here on Clubhouse. Now LFO just start chewing their nails a little bit. We'll see if this, though, becomes a theme or if it's a one-off.
Finding those two first opening picks were just so essential, and Knights capitalized so well. They didn't enable refrags. Of course, eventually Pat did get refragged by Geo from Garage, but at that point, it's a 1 versus 4 when Emo on site's taken out. So Wildcard, look, it was a bit bold to go cash straight away, but they're going to go downstairs now, opting to do what appears to be an anchor strategy. Geo tempting out that Echo 6 picking onto the Goyo. I like that. Just forcing Knights to maybe consider whether they need the IQ, and if not, then they'll be on the lookout for those Yokai drones. The Goyo shields will come in handy, especially to soak up some of the explosive utility from the Zephyr, the frags potentially from Strider or Hayward.
Well, for Wildcard's sake, I will say that from what we saw in the matchup between Ferox and Sinister was that the first round didn't really give us much of an indication. Ferox actually won both opening rounds on both maps in those series, and in the end, we know how that all played out, 7-5, 7-5 to Sinister, so not too awful for Wildcard. They would have preferred to start a bit better, but bounce back here. The question is more so Knights. Knights have still got to answer a lot of questions. Can they continue this? Can you find 2, 3? Can you get, you know, a 3-0 start here on Clubhouse would be so ideal. This is the map you've got to win. Now, I don't want to sort of speak for them, but that even themselves would have to say, yeah, they're more likely that you're going to win Clubhouse than you are Villa.
Oh yeah, no doubt. The Knights, obviously, the 2-map win here would really help them out. Would really force Ferox's hand, force them to get the 2-0 against LFO tomorrow. Otherwise, Knights will go through to the playoffs. But even the 1 map here is pretty good. It does increase their chances quite drastically. So, well, I mean, it keeps their chances alive, because without that map win, they're not going to make it. It's impossible. So for Knights, even just the 1 map win is good. Obviously gunning for the 2-0, but come on, it's Wildcard. Can't dream for everything.
And you don't want to be greedy, I guess, either. But at the same time, when you think about it, if Clubhouse is the more likely of the two maps that you're going to win, you don't have to think about a 2-0. You've just got to put all your focus here onto Clubhouse and in this match and in this round, and almost sort of pretend this is a best of one, right? Like that there isn't Villa after this, that you haven't got that second chance. You've got to put everything into this. Juicy's just going to open up the floor in kitchen. Minute 40 remaining, still a lot of time. It's been a really slow going second round. Wildcard happy to just turtle down in basement. They're not too much roaming potential from what I've seen. Certainly not an SSG roam through the floor. Oh, Juicy catches Gio with a headshot. And the other opening frag again goes to Knights.
But I think, did Ethan manage to trick the hatch using an electric claw? I'm pretty sure he did, yep. So that's the second set X-Kara is going to have to go down. Juicy not only found that first pick, but he's made some great progress, not only opening up the floor, but also the wall inside of Arsenal. If we can have a look at Arsenal on the southwest corner of the wall, downstairs, you'll notice that there's actually a full rotate hole made from above through the floor with the skeleton key. Now that enables anyone on the attacking side to push down from main stairs and be in the B site just by going where Hayward's drone has gone now. So Knights have that in their arsenal if they want to use that to execute.
A bomb has been located.
45 seconds remaining. 5v4's not impossible though for Wildcard, still turtled up. Down here in the basement. Juicy is kind of low health as the drop down finally comes through from Strider. Going to go immediately for the plant. There's the refrag. Those Diesel does get Strider after Pat was taken out by Dino. It's now 3 versus 4. 25 seconds. Diffuser's on the ground. Although with the hatch just above, it should be a quick drop down and then a plant. They've got to try and clear out the player in dirt.
It's Josh trying to find that player. He finds one, gets two. Now it's all on Ethan. He's taken out as well. And the round, it looks like it was going Wildcard's way, but then Josh from Blue finding 2 huge kills to really get his team back in the game. Dino to close it out. And the Knights have taken 2 attacks back to back.
Well, it may not be his debut week no longer, or his debut night for that matter, but he has stepped up already so early on into his career with this team, which is also then great signs as a collective unit for Knights, that you've got your new player that's getting these frags and being aggressive. Jim in bedroom for this third round. And every round that Knights steal away from Wildcard. I mean, I don't know if I like saying steal. Wildcard are the heavy favorites, but every round they win against Wildcard, LFO just get more and more nervous.
Are they going to keep rotating around these sites? Nothing's stuck at CCTV. All right, try Arsenal. All right, nothing's stuck there. Let's go over to Jim Bedroom. I think Knights have got to get that confidence boost right now. They're going to be thinking, look, guys, I know how we said that we're going to gun for this map win, but hey, we're about to beat these guys. I mean, it's only 2 rounds in, but we're totally going to beat these guys. Let's just make it happen.
5 seconds left.
Really is on Wildcard to issue a response here. As Gio looks for drones downstairs. Fakes out a spawn peek. Still looking for drones. Will this roam from Wildcard over to the CCTV and cache side help support them? Because time and time again, Knights are finding their opening picks.
Juice in the second round. Josh in the first round. Strider's going to eventually open up this Kennel's wall. Bit of pressure at top red from Gio. Diesel and Cash as well. So a bit of a horizontal sort of spread out here from Wildcard on this second floor. Not going to make it too easy then for Strider pushing in from Kennels. How much vertical play is going to be used here from Knights if they're going to want to push in from below? Josh already up in rafters. Can at least help out Strider eventually over at CCTV, but most of them are just hanging around Kennels. Not a lot of pressure from the west side. 2 minutes remaining.
Critical pressure leveraged by Juicy, but he takes the first lick of damage through the floor. Does need to be careful here. Diesel flashed out. Wait a second. Knights are in. CCTV. Presence nice and aggressive. Diesel's still alive though. He did find that opening pick as well. Now reload the SMG-11. He splits out that player. He doesn't win that fight. Juicy pushes on in. Now Knights have regained that numbers advantage. Now 4 versus 3, but that said, health advantage looking the way of Wildcard. Both Dino and Juicy so low on HP. We could definitely see this regain of balance from Wildcard here on the bomb site.
Minute remaining. Lose their pressure. Does Wildcard over towards CCTV and Cash. Pat, Ethan, and Emerant will hold on towards Bedroom and Jim. Now Strider, if he wants to, he's got the diffuser here and he's elected to push back over to this balcony wall. Has to get this open, and now has to be forced to make the push with the diffuser in from this side. Getting a bit of help from Juicy, who definitely doesn't want to stand too close to that wall since it's electrified, and he would take the damage, and he hasn't got a lot of health remaining. 2 remain now for Wildcard, though, and it might very well be 3 rounds in a row tonight to open up this series, to open up Clubhouse. 24 seconds remaining. Ethan's on the flank, though, and he does find Dino. Unexpected there. So now 2v3, not impossible here with 17 seconds remaining.
15 seconds.
And I don't think Juicy can walk through there without dying. Oh, another nice shot there for Emorin. Ethan now on for the flank. About to find 2, no likelihood.
Got him.
Gets the first one. Now he can just sit pretty outside. It's all on Strider. Nade goes out. Ethan doesn't have to do a damn thing. It's all on Strider. And Wildcard do get themselves back in the game there with their first defensive victory on Jim Bedroom.
The Knights were the more clinical team early goings in that round. But as it sort of went on, you started to suspect that Wildcard's flank potential became a factor. And you saw it with Ethan. Emorin found that very nasty pick onto Hayward. Ethan ended up getting 3 kills in that round, and, well, that was the difference maker. And we don't move too far from this second floor. Over to CCTV and Cash.
Second time's the charm, I suppose. Funny they're not going back downstairs. I really feel like that was winnable for Wildcard. Church Arsenal defense, especially after they denied that first plant, that first push in from Knights. It was really just Josh flanking from blue that was the weakness for Wildcard, but they seem to think that they'll do better here at Cash CCTV, and I guess we'll have to see. In that castle, once again, likely to protect a roam downstairs. We saw one on the lounge door previously. Really good thorough utility brought by Wildcard, making advantage of this Thatcher ban with the mute and the Kayed to deny as many walls as possible.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Diesel downstairs, putting these castle barricades on some of these doors in stock. Just the one door in stock, I believe. Second one going to go out in the lounge door to protect whoever's roaming downstairs here. I think he's also going to open up some angles here in the wall between stock and bar. Actually, it's a proper rotate hole, not just low holes in the floor. That enables more opportunities for a flank on this roam as well.
A Wildcard found their footing here on Clubhouse. It's only 1 round win. And even that 1 round win was still going in favor of Knights for the large majority of it. A lot of work to do for Wildcard. They've got to wake up a bit. Maybe that round will just do it for them. What's the pass mark, though, for Knights? 2-1 up. They had the first 2 rounds. Do they say 4 rounds on attack is now the pass mark, considering the way that they've started, as Ethan will get the opening frag onto Dino? I'd have to say, look, 3's a pass. Before it would be where you'd want to be reaching now of your Knights after the start they've had.
Yeah, look, if Wildcard can come back with 4 rounds here, they'll be very happy with themselves. Even a 3-3, definitely a pass mark. Finding that pick on the Dino definitely helps them out for this round. Not only is that a player gone down, but an absolute utility powerhouse in the Hibana. A lot of hard breach just gone off the table. That said, we know Knights, they don't always need hard breach to make the job happen.
Minute 30 remaining. Still a lot of time. Juicy, this is critical if you can find this pick. Not going to get it. Didn't expect the repush as well to come. At and Diesel just hanging around close by to each other over on the eastern side. Minute 10 seconds remaining, and so a bit of vertical control here for Wildcard, denying Knights a lot of opportunities to sort of push in here.
But it is Ethan I want to keep an eye on as well. Already found 1 kill here, and oh, I think that drone spotted him just then. He can help flank, get a crossfire with Pat to prevent any kind of push in through lounge. And that vertical pressure. Now Knights seem to be primarily focusing on just this top floor pressure, not going for that vertical anymore since the pressure came on to Juicy downstairs. Hayward here on the con side. I think that's a grenade to come out. Juicy executes in through the main wall. Strider as well. CCTV control and cash control for the attackers, but it's 2 versus 3 for them. This retake may well be successful. Ethan needs to land these shots, and he does. 3v1, all on Strider.
Strider just cancels the plant from going down himself, expecting the push to come from the final 3 members of Wildcard. It did come in the end decisively. Pat will get the finishing kill, and we're all squared tied 2-2.
Really like this mentality from Wildcard. I don't know whether it was deliberate, premeditated, or whether it kind of just happened, but we know Knights to be this team that just when they explode onto the bomb site, they're all there. And they have faith in their gun skill that when they get in the bomb site, they are aiming, ready, and just waiting to find these frags. And if one of their players goes down, that's okay, because there's 2 or 3 more there, all together, all in sync, ready to frag right at the same time. And well, Wildcard were like, okay, you guys have the objective. That's cool. We're just going to sit outside. You guys try and plant. We have numbers advantage. Let me see how you guys deal with this crossfire we're going to throw at you. I really like that from Wildcard. I think it's a great adaptation to counter the Knights playstyle, whether it was intentional or not.
6 pick from Pat, going from the Echo to the Pulse. Just insinuate that they're going to go for more of a roam style play here again on this Church Arsenal bomb site. Wildcard looking to take the lead. They haven't had the lead yet so far in Clubhouse. Knights started so well. Really, I want to say the first 3 rounds, even though they didn't get that 3rd round win, they just didn't quite execute down the stretch. But the last round was a lot more decisive in Wildcard's favor, and it does feel like the momentum has now shifted. And if Wildcard go on and win the next 2 rounds, a 4-2 defense half for Wildcard, considering the start Knights had, will be so demoralizing for Knights.
Definitely possible here for Wildcard to make this sweep back. Looks to be a heavy turtle thus far. Pat used this pulse cardiac sensor to see anyone pushing in the kitchen. Maybe from Freezer. Might get a cheeky C4 off as well. Ethan may well have a C4 as well as Geo. Might have impact grenades potentially on Geo to trick the hatch if the Hibana attempts to open it up. Juicy will try to counter that by opening angles looking downstairs. Of course, we saw previously Juicy open that rotate. And that's exactly what he's doing right now, opening the one I indicated in the very first attack these guys had. So that his team can rotate from bottom main stairs if they wish. Get straight into Arsenal, nice and aggressive. It's always a good option to have.
And the other option as well for Pat is even if the roam sort of doesn't come to fruition, he's fought back, he's still got then a bit more information, and then it helps out with those C4s that Wildcard are going to have in their pocket. I know, just watching this bomb site, this is where Juicy's got to be careful over in kitchen and C4 territory for him. 1.5 minutes remaining. Wildcard will be happy with the time that has been sort of wasted away here. It's just a matter of when these C4s are going to go out.
Pat's getting so much info, can tell his teammates exactly where these players are, if they're bottom main stairs, if they're over near the moto hatch. C4 blind, doesn't find anything. Pat signals that a player is now entered kitchen. We need to see this hatch be opened up, but the Electroclaw is difficult to counter, and Nade will have to do the trick, and well, that's why Juicy is... There you go, the nade comes out. Not sure whether that was Hayward or Strider, but it does get the Electroclaw. Now the Hibana pellets, the X-Kairos will detonate on the hatch, and that's an opening, but 40 seconds left, and there's been no engagement here. We'll have to see something huge from Knights to make this work.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a 5v5 push. If Knights can find an opening frag, they can collapse on that as they push onto the site. They've got no choice but to push onto the site. So they droned out the player in dirt, so at least they got that information. Opening frag is going to go the way of Geo onto Hayward. Makes it so much harder now for Knights as they funnel in towards this bomb site. 20 seconds remaining, not a lot of time. Unfortunately, this is going the way of Wildcard. It would then be 3 rounds in a row. Josh does get one back onto Immorin. Over in blue, Geo's now going to spot one back. 10 seconds though. Time is of the essence. Strider can't get that plant down. Kenny, he's got 6 seconds to do it. As he now starts to put it down, the frags are going to come out. They trade it back. 3v1 stops the plant. Round done. Wildcard 3 in a row. And they've got 3-2 now overall.
So essential there in the last few moments for Pat to take out that player at the bottom of the main stairs and then deny the plant. That single play was what determined the final scoreline of that round, and you got to be thanking Pat for making that one happen. Really good stuff there, and I really like what Wildcard did, not just impact plays like that, but some adaptations that we saw come out. They realized that it was very much a heavy kitchen down into Arsenal-centric push rather than the Moto or the blue side push. So they really invested in trying to get those C4s now out. They didn't really pay off in the end. They didn't find any kills with the C4, but it did slow down Knights because they had to be really cautious from that pulse from those C4s. Another really impactful change that Wildcard made that round was Pat's positioning at the AK racks, at the shelves in the back of Arsenal near dirt. He had a shield protecting him, which meant that this time, when Josh went for the really, really late flank through blue, yeah, he did find one pick, but he wasn't able to eliminate Pat at the position at shelves because Pat had that deployable shield to help him out. So Wildcard overall, really nice adaptations, and that's 3 in a row here, Xenox. At what point do we call it and say Wildcard, those first 2 rounds, they were just asleep at the wheel, and now they're back and ready to game?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I almost called it at the beginning. I did say that Wildcard needed to wake up. It seems the beast has been awoken. Not too much to have then taken, I guess, towards Knight for those first 2 rounds. I'll still say that Knights looked clinical for those first 2 rounds, even 3 rounds for that matter. But now the last 2 rounds, the last 3 for that matter as well, Wildcard have looked the better. They've got the goods. And they're also starting to find these opening frags too. You know, Geo in that round, the round prior to that was Ethan, so they are now the ones that are at least getting these advantages early on and able to capitalize so far.
But despite that comeback, Knights have still been very good as they make progress here. Ooh, nice job there from Josh to open up the that wall with his explosive, the impact on the lifeline from inside. Not something you see every day, but that's nice early control from Knights, and Josh using his second lifeline impact to make himself a rotate. Now that's risky. Doesn't have any more explosives on the lifeline left to take out deployable shields and the like. Dino does manage to successfully detonate some X-Kairos. C4 goes out but doesn't find anything. Decent progress here for Knights.
They've got to stem the tide now. From what looked like at the beginning, maybe 4-2 would have been ideal. Now they've got to at least make it, you know, 3-3. Diesel gets the opening frag onto Juicy. And just like the last few rounds, the opening frag is going into Wildcard's favor. And they have proven to go on and win those rounds as Josh finds the refrag. At the very least, with 1:15 seconds remaining, we are tied 4-4 in terms of players alive here.
Yeah, and seeing Geo there make the full rotate all the way down through blue tunnel, back up the main stairs. I like that decision there. Didn't want to contest, didn't want to play for his life. Just keep this even numbers right now. And don't let losing cash and CCTV mean losing 2 players.
50 seconds remaining. Josh pushes through construction. Strider's going to open up that balcony wall on the west, which unfortunately for Knights didn't work out well last time. A lot of funneling, and this is the bomb site where we saw Ethan find a triple kill. He was a bit more prominent with the roam. Oh, sitting pretty this time, and very much now sitting dead thanks to Josh. I gotta say, Josh has maybe just about been the best player for Knights so far here on Clubhouse. A lot more to go, and it's been a valiant team effort, but he has certainly stepped up. 17 seconds, Imran does get Dino. from that bathroom position. This is where he played it well last time around. Wow, it doesn't matter. Josh knows there's not much time. He has to just push in, try and be aggressive. Gio finds a double. I'm not sure if that C4 got any damage done as Strider now pushes up with the diffuser in hand. 2v1 has to plant it. Went for the kills. Wildcard go for the win. And they're going to have the half 4-2 in their favor.
And that's the comeback written in stone, chiseled in for Wildcard. 4-2 after just a little blip. That's all it was. A little blip just to get warmed up at the start of this map and then coming back strong and demonstrating the exemplary gameplay that we know Wildcard for. And lots of good moments there from Knights as well, though. A lot of promising moments there. Of course, remembering that Knights need to win this map or the next map over on Villa in order to stay in as a contender for the playoffs, because Wildcard, well, they're already confirmed, but Knights, they need 3 points at least tonight. Otherwise, it's just not happening.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
I mean, I don't want to fluff up when we go over to Villa and start sprouting and saying, well, must win. It will be a must win, but their chances will be so much lower than it is here on Clubhouse. So really sort of sprouting that they have to now get back into this. They've got no choice. It's 4-2. They started well. They really did. I mean, you can say Wildcard were asleep, but they still had to get the job done. They still had to play well. And even a half asleep Wildcard is still a very dangerous foe.
10 seconds to
Knights
insertion.
now on the defense, though. This might suit them better. Here onto Clubhouse.
Seconds remaining.
They got no choice, though. And if they lose this opening round, I think it may just go the way similar to what we saw happen to Ferox, who at one point was down 6-2. They did bring it back towards the end, Dev, that we saw. They won the last 3 rounds before then subsequently losing 7-5. But if Knights can make it 3-4, going into their defensive half, they can start to wheel back in their favor.
A little bit sloppy out of the gate as well from Knights. A Goyo shield placed in the hallway was accidentally destroyed, I think, by an impact grenade while trying to just make a simple rotation. So it's not a good start for Knights. They're already destroying some of their own utility. And I am a bit worried for them, to be honest. With Wildcard on a streak, 4 rounds in a row, we need to see something crazy from Knights to really make this happen. And this looks just a bit desperate to me from Juicy. I don't see this paying off. That said, Ethan is getting close. He's playing safe around it. C4 comes out and finds nothing. But that said, Strider does find that opening pick. It's Emo who goes down.
Knights have capitalized on 2 out of the 3 opening picks that they've had prior to this round. We'll see if the trend can continue in their favor in that regards. Wildcard, they lose Ibrahim, but they should still be able to get onto this Church Arsenal bomb site. But at 40 seconds is still enough time if they can clear out like the electrical, or if they can drone out the positions of Knights. As you said, they already lost the Vulcan shield early on. They've looked a bit careless and messy as these 4 rounds have sort of gone on and on. But you win this round, you stop the rot. Going into the next few rounds, as I said, you can turn it back into your favor. Knights have just got to be sort of wary of that fact.
Wildcard fighting from a man deficit. What is that from Hayward? An aggressive peek, but Diesel lands those shots he needs. Matt's numbers evened up. Strider very low on HP as well. More aggression here from Knights. Is that player pushing out from Moto once again? And Pat punishes that one. So this is a bit worrying for Knights. They're letting these leads slip.
I'm not sure what's caused all of the rushing out and electing not to sort of turtle here towards the end. There's only 30 seconds left. They must feel like they've lost a lot of control here to Wildcard, and they needed to do something to stop that. The diffuser is going to be planted down. Strider finds his 3rd kill of the round. Pistol in hand, no worries. He finds Gio and Ethan. And Pat's extremely low too in this scenario. He does find Dino, so at least makes his low health worth something towards the end. I mean, to be fair, Strider and Josh not really in a much better situation anyway, sitting on the diffuser. Diesel gets Josh, now Strider in a 1 versus 2, and he cannot make it happen. Wildcard continue on 5 rounds in a row, and Knights' playoff hopes are slipping round by round.
The streak continues for Wildcard, and it just demonstrates Wildcard's diversity and adaptability here. A fairly unusual plant spot these days. It's not quite common that we see teams open up that church wall and just go for a straight plant. The Capitao as well to cover from smokes, prevent those angles from Blue having too much impact. Mind you, we did see Strider get 2 kills with his pistol from Blue, but those smokes from the Capitao were definitely impactful there. Really good strategies from Wildcard. I don't know whether there was an electric claw to cover off that church wall or whether they had countered it, but Wildcard are identifying these weaknesses from Knights and taking advantage of them.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
This is where, though, as a team, you can't collectively start to drop heads. 5-2, understanding this was going to be your best chance to take a map off Wildcard tonight, and it's evidently not going your way. I mean, the way that this is now going, I'm starting to suspect they might actually perform better on Villa. Like, if this ends up being something along the lines of a 7-2 or a 7-3, Dev, I've got to say I had at least 7-5 at best, considering the circumstances, the external pressure on Knights to perform in this game.
10 seconds
You would have
remaining.
thought they'd be bringing their absolute A++. And right now, you know,
5
little
seconds left
mistakes.
before insertion.
You saw at the start of the round, you lose that Vulcan shield, and those little moments, those little issues can really start to creep up on you as a team. And well, I'm not sure if Knights are handling this pressure very well.
They do have players who can show up big when it matters. Strider for a 3K that round. Unfortunately, there was nothing else from the rest of the team to help it out. Fairly heavy roam here. We've got Dino and Strider, both information gatherers with C4s on the roam. Pat setting up a drone in bar. That's very good for cutting off these rotations, or at least being aware of these rotations. For now, Strider can call out to his team where these players are attacking. Surely he doesn't want to go for this. Oh no. Dangerous play there. He sees the player go to hold the angle onto him, so he's not going to try to jump out and throw a C4 over. Fairly heavy presence from Knights, though, on this side. The player in garage to hold catwalk.
Bomb located by
50
attackers.
seconds. And Strider just checking out the bottom of garage, seeing if anyone elected to try and push in underneath the rafters. Obviously playing with the pulse. He can't scan that far, but he can keep an eye on Emerin, who is just above him outside, and he may get aggressive here as he starts to rappel back up. Just try to do with this information. He probably just holds the position. And, well, Knights, I guess, are holding Wildcard at bay for the time being.
But here, the firebolts come out. Dino does find 1 kill onto Diesel, but eventually Pat's fire is something that Haywood cannot escape from. It's garage control for Wildcard. Not without a cost, however. Diesel was taken out. The diffuser will have to be regained. Emo to find 1. Strider goes down. That's the Roma off the table.
Attackers have recovered
Flashbang
their
fully,
diffuser.
flashes Dino out, and Ethan's surely going to capitalize here. That's the Valkyrie down now. 4 versus 2 for Wildcard. 45 seconds to play with.
4 versus 2 and 6-2 on the other side of this round if Knights can't pick it back through Josh and Juicy. Juicy's still in cash. Let's throw out a gas canister towards the kennel's wall. Unfortunately, though, the pressure is just too much right now. Gets shot through the floorboards. Very low health, under 25%. Pat's going to get the diffuser down too. Ethan can continue to just pressure and terrorize from below. Josh gets a C4 kill onto Pat and actually stops the diffuser. 10 seconds left. Wildcard, has anyone up there who can go and get it? I'm assuming he does. It's Geo. Imran gets Juicy, and Josh, unfortunately, can't do all of the work by himself. And 6-2 now in favor of Wildcard. 6 rounds in a row.
As you mentioned, 6 in a row. Almost feels like it could have been a 6-0 at the moment if the Wildcard didn't just have that little bit of a stumble as the starting gun went off. And now, Knights, we're really looking at you thinking, what is your response to this? What bomb site will you have the most success? Nothing so far on Church Arsenal or CCTV didn't pan out that much better. And instead of going bedroom, they're just going to hammer it home on CCTV, do their absolute best to lock this out. But aside from a few cheeky plays here and there, an aggressive early peak from Dino onto Diesel, I mean, I don't see anything working out so effectively for Knights. Wildcard, they dot all of their I's, they cross all of their T's, and they seem to be intangible for Knights.
Match point, and a whole lot of them. And for what was, I mean, we kind of hyped it up as the best chance that Knights were going to have, but now we look almost a bit silly in a way. I mean, we weren't necessarily wrong, but Knights have just not shown up in any fashion here on Clubhouse besides the first 2 rounds, which they did thoroughly show up, Dev, for those first 2 rounds. But since then, Wildcard have responded. So how much credence do you put into it as Knights outplayed Wildcard the first 2 rounds? Or was it just Wildcard were half asleep and they kind of shot their own self into the foot?
Yeah, I don't see Knights performing any better on Villa than they did here on Clubhouse, to be honest. I'm totally with you. This is Knights' best chance, and it looks like it's not something that is really a chance at all, because Wildcard, oh man, just taking out Dino out of the gate. I was a pre-fire through the wall? Through the wall in construction, all the way into master bedroom. Far out, mate. That is... that's horrendous.
Far out Brussels sprout. Yeah, that's maybe summarizing the way Clubhouse has gone in the last 6 rounds for Knights, I think. Right there. Visualized. 2.5 minutes. Wildcard have already got the opening hand in their pocket. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. A lot of time. They can start to push through logistics if they want to. The hatch is open, and it feels like the formalities, they're just finishing off this map. Wildcard are just sort of brushing Knights. They want to go to bed early tonight so they can wake up tomorrow nice and refreshed.
Looks like that's what's going to happen. Wasting no time at all. 2 minutes down and all this control. Ready and waiting. Juicy's going to take out a drone, but at the cost of about 95 health points, thanks to Pat, who was holding this long angle from logistics. Ethan ready as well. Wildcard have completely changed their idea of attacking this bomb site. They're going for a full construction side push on the back of that early peak they got in Master. Ethan's going to go downstairs now. He can put some vertical pressure onto the players in Cash and force all of them back to the top of Red Stairs, where we see the 2 Knights players already.
A bomb has been located.
Juicy's extremely low. Knights are running out of options. They're running out of players and lives and rounds. And unfortunately, they're going to be running themselves out of the playoffs if they can't find a map win on Villa. Clubhouse has pretty much come and gone, Dev. It almost feels like we're watching the casket go down into the ground right now. And it's halfway there, I'll tell you that much. Wildcard is just toying with Knights as they push on to the final bomb site. Final minutes, seconds, whatever you want to call it. Wildcard have been so impressive. For them as well, you know, a lot has been spoken about Knights going into playoffs, but Wildcard are going to be in such an amazing position going into the playoffs. This is even more good practice for them. They've got all the momentum. They're the best team. They're the ones to beat. And all eyes is going to be on how they perform.
Oh, perfect little firebolt there onto Juicy, and the plant's starting to go down. Can't be denied easily here. Josh does have a C4, but he's taken out. And then the cleanup clue comes through, and that's Wildcard. A 7-2, may as well have been a 7-0 there. Establishing their dominance here and giving Knights absolutely no moment to breathe.
Jesus. Yeah, look, it could have been a 7-0. Really, in essence, it kind of was. If we just sort of discount the first 2 rounds, Knights, not ideal. Very much not ideal. And back to the drawing board, I guess, going into Villa as well, Dev.
Yeah, did we even have a rehost there? Because that kill count looked so low. I think it just goes to show how few rounds we actually played there. The top fragging player on the whole game got 7 kills in 9 rounds. I mean, that just goes to show what a team effort this was, and I guess how brief that map was as well. time and time again, Knights just tried to do something and it didn't work. And imagine you're in their shoes right now. It's like, okay, it's match point against us. Let's just do what we can. Let's retry this bomb site. Your name's Dino. You're just rotating back to side after putting some Valkyrie cameras over at Master, and suddenly you die to a wall bang from about 50 meters away in spawn. I mean, that's when you just break.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, and it makes you feel like it makes you feel horrible, and in a way, I almost feel bad for Knights with the way that how that went in the end, because I certainly wasn't expecting a 7-2. And then when you looked at those first 2 rounds, I mean, imagine going back and telling Xenox and Dev after that second round and being like, yeah, no, that's it, they're done. After that, Knights don't win a single round after that. Would have been no way, surely not. They're playing really well. They're starting really great. Look, on the flip side right now, LFO are cheering that at least this sort of portion of what needs to go right for them has definitely gone right. They can probably sit back and turn it off because they know that there's no way the Knights are going to win on Villa. Now, I don't want to say there's no way, but I also don't want to just fluff it up for the sake of it, Dev. It's going to be super, super difficult, but they have to do it. That's the task in front of them. And at the very least, sometimes when you have a game like that, you get 7-2'd, even on your map pick, there's only one way but up. Although the last time I said that, I think Kanga got 7-0'd. So, look, there are ways to go down, but hopefully they go up.
Yeah, well, we could see Wildcard do a 7-1 or a 7-0, which would be better than what we've seen before. But, man, Villa is going to be a huge challenge here for Knights, but it's do or die. Now's the time to shine, or else you're not going to playoffs.
Yep, exactly right. It's going to be Villa on the other side of the break. Don't miss it.
Please hold. Your call is very important to us. All operators are busy at this time.
It's easy, it's hard to preach, cause I've been burning trees and watching fall. If we cannot breathe out, we go forward. Sure, I was searching for cure, fishing a little wildlife. And when I'm low on fuel, I'll still be running till my back broke. Halfway, lost hope and I'll check it. Hard roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast, cause I was running roads so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I ended up zero. Ghostly revelation. but you won't even get it. Been around the globe, think it's time to admit it's not the end, but the road, and you won't even get it. Been around the globe, looked around, not to fit it. Seen high and lows, but you won't even get it. Been around the globe, think it's time to admit it's not the end, but the road. I was running. Road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. This is such a ghostly revelation. I may have fucked up all my chances, fucked up all my chances. I was running, I know. Call my bluff for the last time. This ain't a song, it's a battle cry. No life. I see the clue between the strobe lights. I'm haunted, black face. Hey, follow me around, okay? Black face. Hey, follow me around, okay? Used to want it bad, used to want it bad, but I can't taste it. I can't help you now, okay? Follow me around, okay? Black face, hey, follow me around, okay? Follow me around, okay? Black face.
Well, unfortunately for Knights, they were thrown into the meat grinder on the clubhouse. Are they going to be spat back out on Villa? We'll have to wait and see. It's a must-win map for Villa. They don't win it, Knights are done. It's as simple as that, Dev, Marta. They win the map, though, and all is forgiven, and clubhouse doesn't really matter. They only really needed one, but we both suspect it's going to be very difficult for Knights to take this map against Wildcard on Villa.
Yeah, it's not their map pick. It's actually a common ban for them. They are currently 0-2 as their record this season. They lost it to Sinister and they lost it to LFO. So it's a bit of a long stretch here for Knights. Not going to lie, not going to sugarcoat it, but that makes it a point where they really, like, there's no expectation for them. Knights have... They're just sitting there waiting for their season to end. This is their last chance to put on a good show, whether that's a couple of maps on the best team in the league, or whether that's actually potentially maybe just entertaining that possibility for a moment that they can make it happen. Who knows? And we don't know what Knights have been scrimming. We don't know what Wildcard have been scrimming. So there's definitely some kind of possibility here. It's a bit of a long shot, but it's still there.
Earlier on in the broadcast, of course, we had Sinister playing against Team Ferox, and for what was a very moment in time, Team Sinister were in first place. That is already no longer the case. That was short-lived for them, holding the crown of first place. We obviously knew they couldn't physically finish in first, and we knew they weren't going to hold it for very long, but Wildcard sort of back where they belong. They've been the best team all season. Their record speaks for itself. They're like 10-1 now, which is ridiculous, and at this point I suspect that they will finish off 11-1, although of course they are actually playing tomorrow against the Kami. Can't forget about that. That's going to be a very intriguing matchup, I guess, because it's going to be Wildcard and Akami, but they're both already in the playoffs, so it's a bit of a dead rubber, sort of just a preview, I guess, of the playoffs to come. But to come for us tonight, it is going to be Villa coming up very shortly, of course, between Knights and Wildcard. And Dev, it's we don't want to sugarcoat it. It's going to be difficult, and a lot of that reasoning is because of the fact that Knights haven't played a whole lot of Villa. We feel Wildcard are just going to be the more proficient team on the map, and they've just obviously been the better team. We just saw what happened on Clubhouse.
Yeah, but let's talk about Wildcard for a minute, right? Because we've talked about how Knights is the last opportunity, and it's probably not going to happen because Wildcard are so good. And let's just remember here for a minute that Wildcard are coming off the back of their worst ever season in pro history, whether that's Pro League, Six Masters, whatever, Wildcard have never done as bad as they did in Season 11 just past, where they came 4th and were knocked out of contention for the APAC finals. But now Wildcard finally look like they might just be the best team in the region again. And in order to prove that to everybody, step 1, 2-0 Knights, make it look easy. Step 2, go into your match tomorrow and do away with Okami, call that it, end the season in first place. That's what Wildcard have their eyes on here.
Of course, though, speaking about Wildcard, the poll vote was certainly in their favor this evening at 77%, which speaks true. Not much of a surprise there. If anything, I was a bit more surprised to see, the smaller margin there for the draw and a couple going for the Knights win. But ultimately, now coming into Villa, which is going to be the map pick for Wildcard, we favored them heavily here. It was 7-2 on Clubhouse. I didn't think it would be 7-2. I thought it'd be closer to something along the lines of 7-5 as we go to Villa for the second time tonight. In fact, we had it in our earlier series. Is 7-2 maybe something we might see again?
To be frank, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 7-1 or a 7-0. Just judging by that 7-2. Just saying, like 7-2 on Clubhouse, that was meant to be a good map for Knights. But here it's Villa. It's Wildcard's own map pick. Knights haven't won it once this season. In fact, they've banned it twice. It's all for Wildcard right now. Knights just want to give everything they possibly can to throw at Wildcard and maybe take a couple rounds or maybe even the map off of the best team in the league. But for Wildcard, it's time to put the money where their mouth is and lock this on, bring it home.
What I will say is that when we had Villa earlier tonight in the matchup between Ferox and Sinister, we kind of felt Ferox would struggle on Villa, and yet that didn't prove to be the case. They actually had some strats banked up, they played well, and Sushi even said they were kind of ready for it, even though they hadn't played it all season. They got to 5-5, and then Sinister pulled away. Knights are going to have to do something similar here. They're going to need to have something. If you're ever holding strats back, now is the time to use it if you're Knights.
That's it. Throw everything you've got at them. See what sticks. If nothing sticks, then, well, you don't have that much to lose. There's not a lot of expectation here on you anyhow. Rounding out the ban phase, we've got the Thatcher and Nomad. I quite like that Nomad ban from Knights. Wildcard are just so good with it. And banning that Nomad really now enables Knights to get a little bit more flexibility. When we were talking in the interview earlier today, where we were talking about Villa, and our interviewee said that Villa can be a bit frag heavy, so if Knights want to really play into that, ban the Nomad, get that roam game going, see what they can do with it. I think that'll play into their strengths more so than Wildcards. Maybe that's an opportunity there to find a couple picks, maybe go for some plays.
So the Pulse banned out as well. I think an emphasis on stopping that sort of roam game and also just a lot of that horizontal, vertical movement. We saw a bit of both, I guess, horizontal and vertical play in the series earlier on tonight. Trophy and Stat first up, second floor. We are going to be seeing Knights defending. At the very least, they're going to need to get 3 minimum defense rounds in their favor if they're going to have a chance on attack, I feel.
Yeah, I would like to see a strong defense come out from Knights. I think that's really where this the tail does lie, especially with that Nomad ban. It's what's enabling Knights to get aggressive on the defense. So we're going to be looking a lot at this information gathering. So that Valkyrie and the Echo. Earlier tonight when we were casting Villa in the previous matchup with Ferox, the IQ was banned out. And it really did enable a lot more information gathering, or rather prevented the information gathering denial from the Valkyrie. It really allowed that operator to flourish. But really, a lot's going to lie on Pat here and how effective he can be at countering those Valkyrie cameras, the Black Eyes, and the Yokai drones from Echo.
5 seconds to go.
And overall suppressing this aggression from Knights.
Attackers are moving out to locate
It's
a
not,
bomb
yeah,
and defuse it.
it's not even just the Valkyrie, but also being able to clear, like the Bandit, electrifying any walls, for example, the ADSs from Juicy. The IQ is so vital here, which is why it was a very decent ban. Well, if you're not going to ban it, you could just kill the guy playing it, and Pat is, well, now dead.
That's awesome. Good stuff. And that's the second time we've seen an attempted a C4 run out. And like, look at this. Knights have just said, look, we're not favored here. It doesn't matter. Let's just go full send, throw everything we've got, and if that means throwing the strat book out the window, that's totally fine. And hey, it worked out for 1 kill. Eventually Strider went down, but it's not such a big deal. And the bigs keep coming out. Look at them go.
I don't know if I'd throw out the entire strat book, but you could probably tear up a few pages and try and just write, be aggressive, find kills, you know, and change up the playstyle just a little bit. But at the same time, you do that, and then you might just be playing into the hands of Wildcard. They could be very well expecting this. Understanding the sort of circumstances around Knights, they're running into the arms of Wildcard right now. Like, they've found a couple of kills, now just a second, thanks to the Nitro Cell from Dino. But a minute 45, and it's a 3 versus 2. It's ridiculous. It's hardly seen all that often. Dino with a nice little hold, though, spotting a couple of Wildcard members running around. But as I said, you play like this every round, and it's probably going to backfire more than it is going to work for you.
Come on, Xenox, don't ruin the party just yet. I think Knights are thinking, look, if we're going to lose this, at least let's have some fun doing it and try and make some hero plays. So even at this position, like you mentioned, 3 versus 2, favoring Wildcard. There's a lot of time on the board, which also favors Wildcard, and they have tons of util. With Heartbreach still on the board, and Geo with the Capital, smokes and firebolts. But look, Dino and Josh, they got some good guns. You know, Dino's already found 2. Josh has the ACOG. Could happen. Full shot swing out from Dino. Emo's on for the entry, but there's no one here to refrag if he gets taken out. That said, Geo does come up and push in. Josh droned out. He has this ACOG. Can he find an angle here?
45 seconds though, still plenty of time in this attack.
Oh no!
Immerant stops shooting. It was a bit of a strange one. Dino stays alive barely, just for the time being. 30 seconds, a lot of time, and the formalities now for Wildcard start to ring out. Peek into Astro, who immediately is now seeing stars as Geo will find the final frag.
And there you go. Wildcard say, look, you can find 2 picks playing like that, but yeah, just keep on doing it and we'll show you what we have to say. So nice stuff there from Wildcard. It really did retain their composure, especially since, you know, we'd mentioned that it was the IQ who was picked off by the Valkyrie, and with Echo unbanned, both IQ and Echo up, it just makes you think, man, well, that IQ, you're really going to be missing it, but, well, it didn't matter in the end.
Maybe they're just looking to set a bit of a precedent on as to how they want to make Wildcard think that they're going to play like that aggressive tone. It's like, okay, we'll play super aggressive this first round. Make them think we've thrown the strat book out the window and that we are going for the aggressive plays and the unexpected. But then switching it back to sort of more normalized, default, stock standard. But in the minds of Wildcard, they're checking every corner, they're expecting every run out. And just maybe that mindset might just slow down Wildcard. I say might because I may very well be completely wrong in this matter, Dev. We're in very much uncharted territory here in terms of just the expectations on Knights and the fact that this is going to be a tough map for them, but it's a must win. It's really just a brewing cauldron here on Villa right now.
5 seconds to insertion.
But hey, nice. If you can have some fun with this, then go for it. You know, no one's stopping you from doing that. Maybe Wildcard, I guess.
I think Wildcard have stopped them for like the last 8 rounds now.
No!
Oh no, not again.
Again! It's
Not
Ethan,
again.
and again it's Dino.
Dino. Oh no.
Oh.
He doesn't even put the F in chat this time. All he can do is laugh himself. Dino's had a rough night for being the first death, I have to say. I just want to bring it up. He's had it really rough.
Yeah, that's just, it's tragic right there. Dino did, I guess he was avenged after that first rounds where he found the opening pick. Ethan said, yeah, not gonna let you do that again. Juicy also taken out. That's the ACOG off the board. Obviously his utility is all down, so no such a big impact. But I'm talking about Wildcard with a 5 versus 3 and 2 minutes for Wildcard to keep making things work. This is, yeah, it's a toughie for Knights. But hey, keep on peeking. Let's see what it nets you.
Targets detected! Second floor! Throwing stun grenade.
comms. Minute 40. Wildcard, you sense they're in control. You sense they are like the spider that has caught their victim in a web. Just slowly digesting Knights. I don't know where I'm going with this, Dev, but I do know Knights are not getting out of this web.
Well, at least Strider does get revived there for a moment. Hey, we're trying to find angles through the floor. Takes a lot of damage. It's Ethan down there just hunting for this one. And you're still wildcard. Don't have to play fast just yet. He's doing a lot of health damage in the meanwhile with Hayward and Strider both within one bullet of at least getting downed. Hayward's going to keep contesting that. Finished off there by Ethan. 5v2. Strider, just give it your best shot. There you go, 5v1. Josh. Flawless round. That's one way to just do a wild card to him. Started off just in about the same way as it finished, with Ethan just deleting a player from Knights.
I think it's fair to say Wildcard are just deleting Knights in general. 8 rounds in a row. When does this stop, Dev? When is it over? When does Knights find a round win? I mean, I'm not totally shocked or surprised. If you had said to me after those first 2 rounds, yeah, this doesn't go 8-0 into the favor, or 9, I should say 9 in a row, I would have been like, okay, it's Wildcard. Of course, they can do that. So it's not so much a surprise that Wildcard's doing this. It's more so a surprise that, well, Knights just aren't really offering too much of a resistance.
Locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, it's a shame because we've seen some highlights from Knights this season. They might have just barely lost the games against Akami. They didn't manage to even edge out one map, but 2-0 over Elevate, one map off of Sinister, a map off of Ferox, trading maps with LFO. These are things to be proud of here for Knights, especially the 2-0 over Elevate and the map off of Sinister. I'd really point those out and say, well, that's quite impressive. But I guess there's not a lot left in the tank here for their final game of the season. Not a lot of possibility to make playoffs for Knights. Just going to be a few points short of it, as we've been so heavily contested for those top spots, those top 4. And Wildcard, man, they just they don't know when to quit, do they?
We've got no reason to quit. What better sort of form, I guess, to also take into the playoffs for Wildcard's sake. Dependent, of course, on how they play tomorrow night. The fact is they've still got to play tomorrow night as well against Akami for Wildcard. So it's an intriguing way of looking at it, that it's not even like their final game. It's the final one for Knights. That's Knights' final game now. But for Wildcard, they've still got so much Six Masters action ahead of them. You know, you've got tomorrow night and then you've got the playoffs. It just still feels like they're in that groove, which is really good for their sake. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They groove on into the first floor. They'll make their way up to the dance floor in the second.
Oof. That's Pat going out. Ice on early. No echo though, so I guess not as big a deal, but we've seen Wildcard come back from these before. That said, I think Knights have finally realized, okay, look, we don't need to just be hyper aggro. So with that first pick, if they can go passive from here, it really puts the onus on Wildcard to start pulling it back. It was a delayed refrag, but it does come through. That's Emo to eventually take out Juicy in the smoke. A lot of utility loss there, and he did punish that aggression just by watching that push down from top Brown. Juicy got a little bit too greedy there.
4v4. At what point do Knights find a win? If it comes down to a push in a 4v4, I kind of back Wildcard in that favor. This is better. This is what they needed. It doesn't last very long, the quick refrag as well from Geo. Wildcard are very good at being able to sort of keep the numbers even if they're at a disadvantage, get it back as well. 1 minute. Then when you push in a 3v3, it gets all hectic and messy. You back Wildcard in. So they're kind of still just tugging along here, looking for what would be their 10th round win in a row over the course of these 2 matches. 45 seconds. Knights need to stop the rock, and they got to do it now.
Not sure where this attack will shape up as of yet. 3 remaining wildcard players, somewhat spread, 2 of them over at Study, but they're going to start to file on this classical hallway. Is Josh going to get punished here? Takes out another drone, but his position revealed. Ethan going to be aware of that. Josh takes out Diesel. Ethan gets on inside. Geo low HP. We'll have to plant. We need to see Ethan go large here. It's all on him now. 1v1, 1v2. Makes it a 1v1 here, but he gets traded. It's Dino no less. No, it's actually Hayward. And there you have it. Finally, Knights, after however many rounds, they get back into it.
We get back into Villa, and I think this is where now we can stop looking at that overall streak that Wildcard went on and try and bring it back to what is this one singular map. It's now 2-1, right? 2-1 definitely looks a lot better than 9-3, you know, and that's the case. That's what's in front of us. We go to Dining Kitchen. Knights can now maybe find 2 in a row, and all of a sudden then 2-2 Villa and gets that blood pumping again. Can they surprise us all? I mean, it would be an absolute shock if they tank this map, but it's a one step forward sort of situation. 1 foot at a time, 1 round at a time.
Yeah, for Knights, you feel your way through this. It might be dark, but just grab onto something and put 1 foot in front of the other, see where it takes you. But now it's not too bad. Finally started to put something together. It might not be a lot, but hey, 1 round. They're only trailing behind by 1 round as well. The Knights, they're not dilly-dallying too much. Not going to retry the stat bomb site that they've previously lost. They'll move on over to the kitchen and dining bomb sites. For Wildcard, though, things have been very strong, very consistent. Occasionally, Knights have that aggression and it does catch out Wildcard, but as you mentioned, more often than not, Wildcard's able to trade it out. I feel like the aggression and catching Wildcard off guard isn't the key for Knights. I don't think that is the #1 thing they need to be focusing on. I think we need to see good reads. We need to see them playing aggressive when it's going to work, when they have info, and then playing passive when Wildcard is on for the refrag. It's all about getting that read so you know when to do what. And that's first pick for Dino once again. He's not having any of it. Takes down Geo.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, what Knights need is they need kills, frags, map wins, round wins. That's what they need. They need the specifics. And you mentioned at the very beginning, that first round, throw out the strat book, throw out the playbook, go in and get kills and potentially try and beat Wildcard by playing in an unexpected fashion. Expect the unexpected, but at the same time, you can't really. Wildcard have had, you know, a couple of times now where they've been run out by a player from Knights who's like peeked a window or, you know, just straight up run-outs. They're playing aggressive. They're playing in a different manner than maybe what they usually would. I feel like the way they played Clubhouse, as Dino finds a second one, they played Clubhouse in a more structured manner, in the manner that we typically see them play Clubhouse, and you saw how they just got slaughtered. Whereas right now, this more uncontrolled manner, like look how aggressive Dino is sitting in the middle of that doorway, peeking that window. This is now starting to maybe work for Knights a bit more.
Eventually, though, he is refragged there. Lucky Pat managed to get that one. Dino. Oh, man. If Pat had died to that one, this might have been quite advantageous for Knights, but Strider just barely misses that C4. 3 versus 4 now. Still, Wildcard are somewhat on the back foot, but they will waste no time taking initiative on this one. Juicy is right around the corner from Ethan here.
He's got to move first. Does Ethan know
Ethan
that he's
has
dead?
no clue. Absolutely no clue.
Does Juicy even know the way that Juicy's holding the angle? Now he's definitely going to know. Ethan had no idea. Juicy picks up the frag. Knights are now just 50 seconds away, or potentially shorter than that, to picking up the round win and tying things up on Villa 2-2. And if they can do that, they can get this second round win, they would be equaling their performance on Clubhouse already this early on into Villa. 30 seconds remaining. Diesel now forces the 1 versus 2 scenario. It started off as a 1v3. But with 25 seconds remaining, and with the fact that Juicy and Hayward are so close to each other, he may not expect Juicy to come from the same angle, the same location. Puts the diffuser down. Juicy's going to slow peek this, and he's going to get the kill. And Knights will win the round. We are tied 2-2 on Villa. There's something brewing here as Knights win kitchen and dining.
Wildcard getting a little bit sloppy there. Losing 2 very early exchanges to Dino, and then I gotta say, Ethan, he just assumed there was no one sitting in pantry, and there wasn't really a good reason to assume that. I mean, I think there was a player rappelling on the window earlier, but they never cleared that position. He didn't face check it, he didn't flash it, didn't drone it. Knights are gonna capitalize on each of these little mistakes, and I mean, even it says something, right? That the only 2 rounds Knights have won have both gone down to 1v1s. And that doesn't bode great for them. I mean, yeah, fantastic. Get some rounds on the board. But if the only rounds you're winning are coming down to the wire, it means that when it comes down to that map-winning round that matters oh so much, it's more likely to just slip away through your fingers.
Been like, what, 13 rounds since Knights were leading in this series in any fashion. They win this next round here in round 5 of Villa. It'll be their first time leading on Villa and the first time leading since they were up 2-0 on Clubhouse. It's been a journey for Knights. And they've still potentially got a long journey to tread towards here on Villa. Mentioned something is brewing and potentially
10 seconds remaining.
they are giving themselves a lifeline here. You build up enough round wins and there's a chance you get to a point where you're like, hey, we can win this.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Possible now as we look at stats being reattempted for the second time. If you remember, this was actually the first bomb site that Knights tried to take, and they had, what, 2 people run out right at the start of the round, and then they just kept on peeking. So I think it's fair to say we haven't really seen Knights properly defend stat tree and trophy yet. So in a way, this is almost like trying a new bomb site for the first time, and Knights definitely have an opportunity to, you know, make an impact, actually potentially win a defense here. And even 3-3 at the half would be looking pretty good, especially after the first 2 rounds, which were just so one-sided towards Wildcard.
Yeah, can Pittsburgh Knights get back here in game 2? I mean, that was on the ticker, and well, bet they're getting chonkered.
Yeah,
Look,
come here.
Knights, yeah, okay, go on. No? He's not having
Yeah,
any of
come
it?
Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. He's just looking at me. He's like, what are you doing, mate?
He's like, don't come back to me until Knights win on Villa. All right, he's clearly a Knights fan. Look, it's been better in the last couple of rounds. 2-2 on Villa. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. We definitely don't want to start saying, oh, here we go, the comeback. Look, long way to go, but it's a start. And at the end of the day, if they were going to win Villa, it had to start somewhere.
And I think it puts it into perspective what you said earlier, which is 2 round wins for Knights. That's as good as they did on Clubhouse in, what, 9 rounds. And they've only had 4 so far to do it. So it's a really good sign. And I think it goes to show that it's not just about what scrims you've done, that get the practice in, and how many counter strats you've done on Villa, because I don't think Knights were expecting this map to come out. Sometimes it comes down to just letting things go and saying, look, guys, the reason we lost Clubhouse is we're in our own heads, and just chill out, just have some fun. They had 2 rounds at the start to let off some steam, and now I think Knights are starting to realize, look, these guys aren't unbeatable. And if we just play smart, if we play better than them, we can beat them. So let's play better than them. And they're starting that.
Yeah, look, I think Knights always had the potential, more so on Clubhouse than on Villa, but they always had the potential to beat a team like Wildcard. Wildcard's not invincible by any means. They're not unbeatable. It's not like they hold this massive streak of never losing a map. But Knights always were facing an uphill battle coming into tonight, now going into Villa, of course, as well. But I love the ability for them to determine and say, right, we're going to try something a bit different here in Villa. We're going to be a bit more aggressive, maybe play outside of even our own comfort zone. A lot of run-outs, a lot of early peaks, see if it works, if it doesn't work. In some cases it has, in other cases it hasn't. It's gotten, though, to this point where it's 2-2. So you think, right, well, I guess we may as well continue the half in this manner. For these next 2 rounds, you would expect they're going to probably play pretty aggressive here. Now, if they can get to a 4-2 half lead, I say, well, we've got ourselves a game. But if it ends up being, say, 3-3 or 4-2 in the favor of Wildcard, well, then Wildcard, when they go into the defense, I suspect they will be able to sort of really corral the aggressive nature of Knights.
It does come down to these opening fights, especially when you're looking at Knights themselves. They need to find that first pick, maybe even the first two, avoid that trade, and then you set yourself up into a good position. In the very first round, Knights got the opening pick, but then Wildcard just kept going trade after trade after trade, and Knights kept peeking aggressively. Wildcard punished them and took that numbers advantage away from them. And then following that, I mean, aside from round two, when Wildcard got the opening pick, in the rounds that Knights has actually won, they've gotten the opening pick, and then they haven't let it slide. They haven't been just submitting to the trades from Wildcard. They've gotten out of dodge, ensured that they haven't been refragged, and then the rest of the players is, okay, let's not throw away this lead. Let's actually capitalize upon this advantage that we've established for ourselves.
And look, I think it should be stated, Knights are always going to try their absolute best. They would have tried on Clubhouse. It's not like they just threw it. They had a bit of a rough one, and we can maybe get their thoughts on it in the interview to come later, but they've got to be happy with where they're at right now in Villa. They've still got a chance. And at least for the time being, I think, again, the LFO players that I'm sure are probably watching are thinking, oh, God, it's not going to happen, is it? When everyone's saying they can't win Villa, they go and then win Villa. That would be just disastrous. Long way to go, I know, but, man, we really maybe put the Mozzie on this one, Dev, if it does happen.
Yeah, well, nothing to lose, right? No expectation on Knights right now. So everything that they can get from here is something that we should be impressed by.
They haven't really put a lot of pressure of utility into that closet, which is surprising. Typically, we'll see teams elect to fill it up with ADSs and shields and sometimes even the frost traps. But no, Immigrant's just going to walk in free, 2 minutes on the clock, which is strange. But Knights have been playing strange on defense, and it puts, again, doubt into the minds of Wildcard.
Yeah, no heavy closet hold there, but we do have Dino. He had a preset C4, but I'm pretty sure that Pat downstairs with his electronics detector, he did spot the C4 and take it out. Oh, he actually wasn't upstairs, but oh, you see, there you go. There's the C4 right there. He's surely called that out to Diesel. Say, careful, dude. C4 right there. Dino blows it, doesn't find anything. Gets one of those drones, but not the second. Gotta be careful here. There's a player upside down rappel on the master window. It's actually really slow here for Wildcard. What's this, 2 minutes down? And what progress has really been made? They haven't flushed out the players downstairs. They have control of Master, but not dominatingly. And there's no opening pick. So this is actually a really great spot for Knights.
Also to be considered, no utility was really used in the closet, besides a C4, for example. So it's not like they had to flush all of that out. That means there should be some more utility towards the site itself.
Finally, that opening pick does come out, and it's in Wildcard's favor, so maybe they are getting a little bit closer. It's actually 2, sorry. 3 versus 5 now. Wildcard are just sending it on through. Here's Ethan, ready to aggress on into Trophy. Pre-fires the wrong way. Diesel finds another one. Everything's slipping away right now. Player on the flank, it's Juicy. Doesn't land the shots that he needs to, and I think I had jinxed them there because I forecast potentially a close round, but when they're needed most, they do step up, and that's Wildcard, flawless.
And for the second time this series, they do stop Knights from getting 3 rounds in a row. And we head back to Aviator and Games, where both teams have split it 1-1 so far. That was definitely better from Wildcard, though, compared to the last 2 rounds where Knights were just over-aggressing them and Wildcard not dealing with it as well as they probably would have liked. A different setup again that round with not a lot of utility used in closet, backfiring on Knights. They were able to just walk in, and from there they were able to get a lot of that second floor control as Wildcard edged closer and closer from crushing the dreams of the Knights, but also uplifting the dreams of those LFO players.
Yeah, it's pretty common not to do a hard closet hold there on that stat and trophy bomb side. It's more something that we just see specific teams do. Like, for example, Okami, remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something, we were casting them, and they just did it every round to mixed success. Overall, I think it was a pretty good idea. But yeah, it's not something that that Knights seem to be eager on doing, and I think they were more hoping to leverage that vertical pressure from downstairs, but those two players, Bandit and Diego, seem to have virtually no impact at all. But now we'll look to the final round of the half, and if Knights can even this up, I actually rate their chances pretty strongly of coming back on the attack. Villa, I wouldn't really stitch it up to be defensive-sided or attacker-sided. It really does swing from game to game, albeit the Thatcher ban does complicate things for the attack, but both of these teams are very much capable of dealing with that Thatcher ban. That Nomad ban as well might prove to be difficult for Knights. But Dino, once again, he's just not letting up here. Wants to go for this spawn peak once again. A risky play, but I think Knights have demonstrated that that's the playstyle they're going for here against Wildcard.
Got at least one more round to do it here on their defense. If they can split it 3-3, it'll already be a better improvement from Clubhouse. And then going into their attacking half, where, who knows, maybe when Knights are going to be on the attack, they can have a bit more free roam to sort of play that aggressive style that they want to bring here on Villa. Of course, though, you're going to be then contending with a defense from Wildcard that'll be preparing for it. 2 minutes remaining. Wildcard is taking their time here as they clear out this first floor.
Wildcard taking their time. Now, that's a sentence we say fairly frequently. Wildcard, I think one of their biggest weaknesses is the fact that they can take so long, but the playstyle we so distinctively know them for is taking forever to do something, but when they do it so well. When the execute comes about, it's so successful. Already one player found, and they're finished off by Geo. And that's why you need to apply that vertical pressure if Wildcard do so effectively. And this drone work is just perfect as well. Perfect information gathering. Surely not. Surely Hayward doesn't go for this. He comes out.
A lot of damage done. Strider gets actually taken down from Ethan on the other side too. So that's a good combination onto Strider. 1 minute remaining. And again, it's a 5 versus 3 in favor of Wildcard. Very similar to that last round, Dev. And 4-2 is looking the more likely here to end this half. There's a quick double trade, 1-1. And it's now 4 versus 2 with 45 seconds remaining. Really, Knights need to find another frag or two before they get onto the site here. It's absolutely pivotal.
Ethan, he's so confident on these engagements. He has been all night, and he finds that one. Geo as well. And that's Wildcard closing out the half with a nice, confident 4-2 split on their attack.
Well, they got the first 2 rounds of the half. They then got the last 2 rounds of the half. 4-2. And that uphill battle for Knights, it's basically the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest at this time. They've got such a long way to get back into this map. We will reiterate it one last time. You lose this map, your season is done for the Pittsburgh Knights. They've had their chances, not just tonight, but really this season. It's easy to sort of sit back and say, oh, they had to get a map here. Well, in reality, Dev, they probably should have got this map elsewhere in the season if they wanted to make top 4, not having to then rely on taking a map from Knights when so far only one other team has been able to do that.
Yeah, well, if Knights have got the 2-0 they wanted over LFO, that map on Villa itself actually that went to an 8-7, then, well, Knights wouldn't be in nearly as sore a position as they are now. They would be well and truly ahead, and they would just be worried about Ferox coming up on nipping on their heels, depending on how Ferox perform tomorrow. But yes, Knights have well and truly had their chances. They only got one map against LFO, they only got one map against Ferox, and I think that's really what set Knights back this season and what prevented them from really putting themselves forward with a strong application for those top 4 spots. But of course, the opportunity doesn't end there. It just makes it much more difficult. Now they have to take this map off of Wildcard. Otherwise, tomorrow night, when LFO and Ferox go head-to-head, one of those teams will at least get enough points to edge away and take Knights' spot. So Knights need more points on the board, otherwise that 4th place they're sitting pretty at the moment won't be theirs for long.
And it really does set up tomorrow night to be a preview of the playoffs with the Kami and Wildcard battling it out. You've got really 2 of the top 3 And then, of course, LFO and Ferox, the winner, would then make it into the playoffs. Of course, for Ferox's sake, they don't have to 2-0. They can just get the draw. But it gives you the idea of sort of what's on the line for tomorrow night and the preview of the playoffs to come. 2 minutes remaining, and, well, for Knights, they've got to turn it around. Otherwise, they will have no part in those playoffs. They'll be watching on the sideline, along with the lights of Elevate. And, of course, Kanga. Diesel takes a big chunk of damage there from Josh. Tries to just fire back through, doesn't get anything. And once again, Wildcard gets the opening frag for like the 3rd time in a row now.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
And the second as well to follow up, denying any kind of refrag there. Strider, though, looking to focus on the site. And, of course, Juicy has this Ying in his pocket. Candela is at the ready. Strider looking to push up aggressive. He says, look, we know there are players on the road, but Eva Ring, the one tap with the Magnum of all things. Pushing into side now. That's Juicy finished off. All of our hopes lie on Juicy. He can find one, but choked out of sight. 3 players left to find. A lot of time to work with, but just about nothing else really in his arsenal. As Ethan, Pat, and Diesel lie in wait for the newest member of Knights.
I was going to mention the health of Diesel, but Josh's health is not that much better anyway. Fortunately, you may as well give it a crack. It's not like you have anything else to do but see what can happen. Who knows? Maybe you get a collateral. Maybe Wildcard get a team kill. We've seen that a little bit in recent weeks. He just pushes in, makes a bit of noise, and really the way that, well, I was going to say they could either just all rush him at once or someone will eventually spot someone. Diesel in the end does, and it's 5-2, and Villa's now pulling away from Knights.
Quite the deficit to come back from. We said the same thing on Clubhouse, and well, I mean, there was no comeback. There was no round for Knights at all after the 2 they picked up at the start. Now, Wildcard on the defense here. Are we really going to do the blitz? Surely not. Surely not. We don't see blitz and clash. No, 6-pick. Both of them. No shieldy boys today. But for Knights, it's really, there's a lot of onus on them to make this happen. Dyna's just going to take the Ash. Don't blame you, mate. Go for broke, and I mean, there's some good utility there in the with the breaching rounds as well.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Wildcard going to stat and trophy next up on the menu. We need to see something better from Knights. I'd like to see the Ying be more impactful. I'd like to see Hayward be a bit more impactful as well. Last round, he was basically on 0 HP off of an early engagement, and he still continued to hunt that roamer of Pat downstairs. And he didn't have anyone close enough to him to go for that refrag, so he's never going to win that engagement, right, when he's basically on 0 HP. I'd like to see Knights work a bit more closely together, and I want to see flashes of that Knights that we talk so much about, the one that explodes into the bomb site and is perfectly in sync, not this disjointed trying to get a cheeky pick here or there Knights. I want to see the Knights that I know has the teamwork and chemistry of a world-class team.
Unfortunately for Knights, though, Stat and Trophy hasn't been their friend here tonight on Villa. They haven't won it yet. Only won the 2 rounds on Aviator Games and Kitchen Dining, but everything else has gone the way of Wildcard. 5-2. The match point of the match point now for Wildcard. And one step closer to finishing off this series and to finishing off the season for Knights. It's a rough way to go for Pittsburgh Knights, considering they've been thereabouts, the top 4 all season long, Dev. And then on the last night, well, the second last night, technically, you then no longer qualify.
Top so long, but it's not enough for them. You mentioned that heavy closet hold. It's Diesel here with the super shorty. Deals a pack of damage in close range. Juicy could try to use some Candelas in this scenario, but with 2 ADSs there, no way! Diesel, how do you get away with that? And that just demonstrates the confidence Wildcard are feeling right now. Knights, once again, shut down.
You wanted to see, you specifically said, more from the Ying. I mean, definitely not seeing anything from the Ying this round with Juicy being picked like that. And once again, for the 4th time in a row, the opening frag in favor of Wildcard. Knights have just had nothing go their way. It's why we both didn't really get too excited when it was 2-2, when Knights looked like they were pushing it back in their favor. We knew what was to come. We knew that Wildcard would step up and find that other gear. It is at least 4-4, and as I finished saying that, now it's 4-3. And along with that, Josh is very low and, well, now dead. And, well, it all falls apart very quickly here. Knights are going to lose this round. 6-2. Wildcard are on match point.
Hold your horses, Xenox. I know you like to be efficient with things, but it's not over yet.
Nah.
Not over until the fat lady sings. Then, I mean, we got a couple
singing.
Oh, there she goes, whistling away. Hitting those high notes. Nice stuff. No tenor at all. No alto. None of that. It's all at the top register there. Dino, last one. He's the one to pop off so far, but come on. 4K. Clutch it up. Not happening. But every kill here is a consolation prize against arguably the best team in the region. Why not give it your all?
Oh, for Knights, it was always going to be tough. The damage was done on Clubhouse. I think it's evident, right? And we didn't expect them to really push Wildcard to the point of them winning the map here on Villa. And now it's 6-2 match point, and it's shaped up to be that way.
Best that Knights can hope for really is getting at least one more round, so it's not a 7-2, 7-2. I think anything less than a 7-3 is a thrashing. So 7-2, 7-1, 7-0, those are rounds where you look at that, you know, the maps that you look at that and you say, yeah, there wasn't really a contest here. One team was the clear winner. Once you get to 7-3, 7-4, 7-5, you're starting to think, hey, it's actually a pretty close game, you know, a solid effort there from that losing team. But Knights, a bit more that we'll have to see from them to really work it. As we head down to Dining Kitchen, can Wildcard go, as I like to call it, around the world and do all 3 bomb sites needed in their rotation flawlessly? And that would be the map if they can do so.
Well, speaking of around the world, unless I've made a mistake, which I very well may have, I think every single member from Wildcard has picked up an opening frag here on Villa. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Dev, but... I missed one round. I have Ethan, Geo, Pat, and Diesel, but I don't have Emo getting one. Yeah, I missed round 5. Is that round 5? Yeah, that was actually the flawless round too. How did you miss that?
Yeah.
Jeez. Come on,
Because it was too fast, mate. Too fast.
I'll back myself in there and say I got that one right. So yeah, that's kind of just showing, I guess, that Wildcard doing it as a team. It's not a one-man effort. It's not a one-man show. And this will be the end of Knights, I would suspect. And 7-2, 7-2 is very much a thrashing, going back to what you were saying just prior. Well, it has been a thrashing. Even if somehow Knights make this 7-3, in my eyes, it's still a thrashing. I mean, 7-3 is on the very low side of that closeness that you were sort of speaking about. So it's been disappointing from Knights tonight, especially more so in Clubhouse than Villa.
Hello, Josh. What are you doing? That's a brick wall. Now, Juicy did 6-pick this Lion from the Ying, and it looks like Knights might go for some...
Was he masking the sound of the...
barricade, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the 4-man crouch walk. Up pantry.
No.
But they are met with the ultimate enemy. A wooden barricade.
Apples. Oh, I thought it was the apples.
Here's the explosion into sight. Juicy taken out off the board. Dino does find one as a reply. Finds 2 kills. Hey, this might be doable. Wait a second, surely not. Strider finds one. 2v2. Josh about to get this kid down. Oh, it's a 1v1. And Ethan loses it. Knights get one more on the board. It was a bit of a left and right, bit of a crazy one. But hey, it's something on the board, and that's 6-3.
I mean, can they just keep doing that for forever? It's like, hey, are you guys going to allow us to just do that again? That also means they denied kitchen and dining, Dev.
Yeah. They denied the round the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, mate. That was fun. I find it funny that the line was 6-picked onto to enable the rush, and then they decided to just not pop the E1D because they didn't want it to reveal the fact that they were about to rush. So, I mean, the E1D is a double-edged sword because it's very effective, right? It gives you some information or suppresses the defenders from moving, but it also reveals the fact that you're about to make a play. So not doing that was perhaps a good idea.
Surely that doesn't happen again, though. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible. You can't make that sort of push here on Aviator games anyway.
It's called the
Wildcard will
yeet up
just sort
red
of-
stairs. Full 5-man crouch walk up red stairs all the way into B, plant vault door. There you go, GG.
All right, well, we'll see if that comes to fruition, but I don't think Wildcard are going to allow that to happen. But for Wildcard's sake, even if you lose... well, I mean, technically, even if they lose the next few rounds, it doesn't really matter. Heck, they could lose the map and it doesn't really matter. Like, they're just having a bit of fun right now. Unless they're, like, absolutely cruel people and they're like, no, we must demolish Knights. Like, we've got to make sure they lose as inhumanly as possible. 7-2, 7-2 is now at the window. At least they get a 7-3 at the very minimum. See what happens here, though, on the attack for Knights.
I think this is also looking inwardly, though, for Wildcard right now. They're sitting at 30 points thanks to that first map win on map number 1, and that's in first place on the standings. But with that match against Okami tomorrow night, there's definitely an opportunity for Okami to make a comeback there, and Wildcard doesn't want to let that happen. They had the worst season ever in the season 11 of Pro League. They want to come back. They want to take 6 Masters. They want to take that first seed into the playoffs, that seed advantage. And they want everyone to know that they are the #1 team.
Bomb located by attackers.
Which drone, of course, can shoot out those electric claws before being, well, it seemed like stomped. Imagine if you could do that. You could just, like, left click, but it just kind of stomps the drone with your foot. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like a special finish. Dino and Josh both basically being the opening deaths of this round. And for Knights, at least they get 1 back. 3 versus 4, still not ideal, but pushing towards the site.
Really smoke babe there from Diesel. Trying to slow this down. There is a roamer downstairs. And if Juicy can find that one, it'll put his team in actually a decent position to try to make this comeback. 3v4, not impossible. Diesel burning all his smokes nice on and early. Ethan going to try to get back to site surely. His rotation is spotted out, but he takes out 2 drones in the meanwhile, starving the information up from Knights. And now study push is going to be very difficult with that positioning from Ethan. Too many angles to watch here for Strider. But can Juicy flank up the red stairs and take this?
Not quite the, what did you call it? Yeeting up of red stairs. But Juicy's giving you the best that he can give you. 3 versus 3.
Wow.
Never mind a sequence found from Hayward. Now he can just walk straight into Aviator as well. Games is being watched. Diesel watching this window. I think he's going to be committing to this window, especially now with the E1D being used. Has no choice. The Repel's going to come in. Should get the immediate frag onto Hayward. Does. Diffuser does go down at the very least. Vulcan Shield can be still exploded if Imran needs to push back, but he needs to push forward onto the Diffuser. So give up on that. Move around. He's got 35 seconds.
He's all out of gas. Imran, no utility either. Great gun on it, though. And Juicy still has an E1D remaining. We could pop that and suppress. There you go. It comes out, and that's Emo taken out. Diesel bides his time. A lot of angles to watch, though, when Knights. Yet another one on the board. It's a 6-4 here, and slow and steady. They're not cheesing it here. This is seriously on. I won't make any big claims yet, but Knights have definitely put themselves in a position where even if they lose, Villa was not a thrashing.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. In the way that Clubhouse was a thrashing and was probably very disappointing because, I mean, it was their map pick. This has been better. How much of it is maybe unusual strats or unusual play? I mean, who cares, really? Winning's winning at the end of the day. Getting to the position that it's 6-4 on Villa, a map you haven't really played or played much of, at least in 6 Masters. Knights have got everything on the line here. So they're not just sort of playing willy-nilly. They're playing to make playoffs. Like they're saying, okay, well, maybe we can't win in the conventional means, but if we win by this means, who cares? So if it's working, it's working. 6-4 now. Wildcard have got to put a little bit more thought into defending here. Aviator games, but also just thinking, okay, well, how do we combat the unexpected?
And looking at it from Knight's perspective right now, I totally agree with you. If you can win by any methods possible, then, you know, go for it. There's no police that's going to say, hey, no, you can't bring Lion, you can't bring Twitch and try and use that to counter electric clauses. You can't do a rush up Pandora stairs. There's no one that says that. If it works, it works. Dab on the hate, as I say. And to Knights' credit, they came back from a 3 versus 5 into a 3 versus 3 to get Plant down that round. And then eventually lock it out. I mean, that's an impressive feat. And Knights, I think after that, looking at the scoreline and saying, look, guys, we're 2 rounds away from making this even and putting it back on the possibility of us going to playoffs. Let's just do it.
6-5 doesn't really get them too much more, but it does get them a step closer to sending it to overtime. Josh opens up with Ethan going down. Ethan's been a very impressive player as well for Wildcard Dev, so to take him out of the equation early on, I mean early on, we've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds, is so ideal.
No refrag. I expected a E1D to be popped by Juicy to suppress that attempt at a refrag, but no, not so yet. And Pat did a lot of damage to Hayward. In fact, Hayward's lucky to be alive on that rappel. Still, as you mentioned, numbers advantage. Not a lot of health advantage with Hayward and Josh both low. But this is great time management. 1 minute down. There's the E1D to come out. Fire goes through. Tries to fry position. The Injure comes out. Pat gets that headshot, but I don't know if Knights are aware of that Injure. Wildcard are probably thinking, can we pick him up? The answer is no, in all likelihood. But how long will it take Knights to lock out that kill? Because they don't have points on. There's no hard points in competitive play. So they won't be aware that they got the Injure there.
Well, they are aware now as Hayward will put Pat out of his injured misery. 1 minute and 15 seconds. And things are just getting interesting here. And I don't just say that in a jokingly manner because Zimmerman goes down to Dino. It's a 2 versus 4. Knights are on the verge of making this 6-5 on Billa. Hello? Wait a second. Where did this come from? And now, Wildcard are probably saying the same thing. Where did this come from? What's going on? Why is this happening now all of a sudden? The push through. Geo's able to get Juicy. Do they elect to try and shut this all down now? Win on this match?
No way!
Geo's found a second one. It would be oh so bad. Heartbreaking. Diffuser's on the ground and now it's a 1 versus 1. Hayward was able to get Diesel. Geo's low, but so is Hayward. This couldn't be any closer. The gas canister has dissipated. Hayward's able to get the diffuser. He can stick it down now, just near the vault door. He's scared. He's expecting Geo to push through, go for the frag. Hayward is now going to start the plant. This is their season on the line, and Knights will win the round. 6-5. The smart play from Hayward, expecting the push from Geo. It comes out on top. And they are 1 round away from sending it to overtime.
From a 4-2, a 5-2, to come back and put us on 6-5 on the verge of overtime. And round by round, play by play, Knights are just looking better and better every time. There was a moment here when Geo got this pick that I thought, Knights, it's over. But then for Hayward to clutch it out in the 1 versus 1. Wildcard have got to be sweating right now. Ethan, he's not popping off like he was previously. He was shut down without any worry at all from Knights early on in that round. And now we really need to see something from Wildcard to lock this out. Now, you don't want to be seeing overtime because at that point you're talking about a comeback from Knights, a reverse sweep where they have all the momentum, all the cards up their sleeve. Wildcard, they're not going to be losing anything in the standings. They're not going to be kicked out of playoffs if they lose this map, but they want to assure themselves that top #1 spot in the league. And they want to make sure that they don't lose to a team like Knights that they deem to be not on their level. For Knights, all the pressure is on right now.
Bit of pressure as well to those from LFO watching this. It was 6-2. So many match points have gone wasted for Wildcard's sake. But you know what, Dev? Only one matters. And they've got that one last match point here. A 7-5 win would be noble from Knights, but it won't get them the chocolates. But if they can make it 6-6, send it to overtime, I agree with you. They will have the momentum. Maybe they've then got the tactics as well to go on and win that. Wildcard playing a bit more aggressive here in this round. A few shots being shot outside. Maybe just trying to throw Knights off a little bit. And for Knights, their line of thinking is that we're right back in this game now. Do we continue with the same strats, or do we just reel it in a bit? Juicy picks the Lion, and I think for them it's same. It's been working. Why switch?
Emo droned out consistently downstairs. Wildcard did not deal well with this attack last time. Diesel was allowed 2 kills on the jump outs from Closet. How are they going to deal with him? It looks like they're tempted to go for this vertical pressure. First E1D rings true. But no progress thus far, really. Knights just sussing the situation, droning out. Dino pushing in downstairs. And Geo to find that first kill. It's Hay with the man to clutch up that previous round. He's down.
Is the team going to follow him? No, not just yet. In fact, they're going to take the lead here in this round. Immediately traded back from Jero. Jero has very much stepped up here in the clutch for Wildcard. The rest of his team, I've got to say, have fallen a bit by the wayside. He's been finding frags when his team needs him to find it. Still has the ADS there as well, just in case anything is thrown in his direction. Diesel from above, watching through the floor. Minute 20 seconds remaining. 3 versus 3. It couldn't get any closer than this. Knights 1 round away from sending it to overtime. Wildcard 1 round away from sending Knights out of the playoffs.
Juicy spots Emo. Second E1D rings true, and still Knights, you can feel the tension. They're worried about Geo. He's on fire. A huge impact play previous rounds, and now 2 kills to his name thus far. Looks like Knights will just avoid the master bedroom. Right near the statue. Geo for another one, but he gets punished. That's Josh. And now a 3 versus 2. The E1D comes out on the back of it to suppress any refrag, and in fact, none come out. Diesel needs to find this angle. It's a 2v2 now with Josh on the floor, finished off by Emorin. Diesel low HP. Emorin spots out 1 player. Can he find this? He does. It's a 2v1. All on Juicy here for the map. Pushing up from the Astro stairs. What can he do?
20 seconds remaining, make it 15. He doesn't have the diffuser in hand. 10 seconds left. He wants to go for the frags. Pre-fires to his left. They may just run. They've got the time. 6 seconds left. It's an awful way for Knights this season to finish off, but that's the way it's going to be. Wildcard win the round. GG's. Heartbreak for Knights. And unfortunately, the comeback falls short. That last hurdle they couldn't get over.
It was long, and it was hard fought. It was valiant, but Wildcard are on top of the standings in the 6 Masters and on top of the scoreboard on this match. A well-deserved victory for Wildcard. They might have had to sweat a little bit more than they expected, but they close it out at the end of the day on Villa. A 7-5, no overtime needed.
Yep. What to say about that? That turned into almost an instant classic towards the end from one position when it was 6-2, finishes off 7-5. Very similar to actually one of the matches between Ferox and Sinister, if you recall, Dev. So, look, that went kind of the opposite to how we thought maybe things would go. I predicted kind of like a 7-5 on Clubhouse and a bit of a beating on Villa. In the end, roles were reversed, but still, nonetheless, we say goodbye to Pittsburgh Knights, Dev. They couldn't get the map win that they needed. It was vital, crucial, and for Wildcard, they go 2-0. They win yet another series, moving towards playoffs.
Yeah, Wildcard are on fire right now and heading into playoffs. Well, they've actually got 2 maps tomorrow night against Okami, so that's going to be super tense. Winner of that likely to take first place overall in the 6 Masters as well. So Wildcard need to get some good rest tonight so they can be prepared for that one. But like you're saying, this is the end of the season for Knights. They are locked out of the playoffs positions now. Best they can do is 5th place, which is looking fairly likely at the moment. There's still a possibility they can move down into 6th, I believe. depending on how LFO and Ferox do. But as for tonight, I think Knights have got to be proud of the fact that they managed to regain some momentum on Villa in particular. It wasn't pretty for a while, but the fact that it wasn't a thrashing, they've got to be happy with that.
Definitely agree. Another man who should be happy is Silex, of course, from Wildcard. They win yet another series. Silex, it's another one in the belt. Maybe a bit of sweaty palms and nerves towards the end there on Villa as it went 7-5, but you got to be happy, especially the way things went on Clubhouse.
Yeah, Villa was a bit too close for comfort at the end. Clubhouse was really good, had a couple of rough early rounds, but managed to pull 7 in a row, which was really nice.
Yeah, Silex, I want to talk a little bit about tomorrow night. You guys are playing Okami, arguably going to be your most difficult match of the season, especially coming off the back of Season 11, which was such a struggle for you guys. You guys are back on the horse. Are you going to take it all the way? You've only dropped one map so far. What is going to happen tomorrow night with Okami? What are you guys thinking about the most?
So tonight's matches and tomorrow matches are actually really important. Even though we've already made ourselves into the playoffs, it's come down to seedings for us now. So Okami can still take first place away from us if they beat us 2-0. We just now need to win one of those 2 matches to keep our first place, which gives us first seed in the playoffs, and that will put us against either Ferox or LFO. So if Ferox win one map tomorrow against LFO, then they go through in 4th place. If LFO win 2 matches, then they go through in 4th place. So yeah, sorry to Knights tonight. They were just literally fighting for their life. So yeah, if we maintain our first place position, we will face either Ferox or LFO in the first round of the playoffs. Assuming that's how the seedings will work, of course.
Yeah.
Ask Uncle Jeebus about that one.
Yeah.
So it's a few interesting strats coming out from Knights tonight, more so on Villa than Clubhouse. Clubhouse was a bit structured. Were you expecting maybe some different play styles from them tonight, considering their circumstances, of course, revolving around their future?
Well, as I said before, they're fighting for their life. So if they can get those like early advantages like they tried to do, especially in the first round, they tried that Scyther C4 that completely whiffed, thank God. But yeah, like Dyna was just playing like double or nothing. So yeah, go huge or go home. Caught us off guard a little bit, but at the same time, we kind of expected them to get really aggressive and do some random stuff because it's just in their nature, I guess.
I'll let you go. Best of luck tomorrow as well. I was going to say for the playoffs too, but you're not quite there just yet. But look, best of luck for the playoffs and also against Okami.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
One of the good points I thought he brought up was that these games are important to Wildcard. They view them as important games, probably not just for the seeding, but also to sort of build that winning mentality and always staying on top. And I think that's a really good foundation for Wildcard.
As soon as you say, oh, it's okay if we drop one map, we're still making playoffs. As soon as you start to adopt that mentality, I think that it says something about your competitive spirit, and you need to have that fire burning inside you at all times, that desire to be the best that you can be. Wildcard knows that they are good enough to put away Knights 2-0, and they did so tonight. They've demonstrated that they have what it takes to take that #1 seed, but tomorrow LFO, or rather Okami, is going to be standing in their way and ready to take the fight to him.
The last time we had Pittsburgh Knights in the interview with Strider against Okami last week, which was a bit heartbreaking. You could hear it in his voice. They knew how important that series was, and at the time we knew how important it was as well, because we kind of predicted this would happen against Wildcard. We kind of said at the time, if they don't get anything against Okami, the odds are they're not going to get anything against Wildcard. I don't know how disappointed Strider's going to be tonight, but I know they will have tried their absolute best. Strider is going to be with us for the interview tonight, mate. Commiserations firstly, I just want to say the fight back on Villa was valiant, and it was awesome to watch you guys sort of bring it back, but let's be real, it all went wrong on Clubhouse, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we definitely took the L on Clubhouse, no doubt. I mean, I think it just came down to like we were taking one-on-ones and Wildcard were just destroying us in the one-on-ones. Like the amount of times we'd let them set up with a Capitao. Look, honestly, I don't know why we banned Ying. Why do we ban Ying? They don't even play Ying. They play Capitao. Why don't we ban Capitao? It's questions we'll never know the answer to.
I gotta say, Strider, it was nice that the first thing I saw when your face came up on the interview was a great big smile on your dial. And I think that, yeah, it was a toughie, but you guys got a lot to be proud of going in this season. You've had a million roster changes through and you've settled in with Josh. What are you guys going to be looking at now that you guys can chill out, have a little bit of break? Pressure's off, right? Coming into your next step, what are you guys going to be working on in the break?
Yeah, look, that's a really good point. Like, we're really happy with our performance this season, especially with all those roster changes. So, like, if we had like a really solid kind of time to just settle in and build up those like small things, right, like the call outs and the setups and things like that. I think if we can solidify that, we'll be really strong next season. Like this season, we've proven our worth even with a new player. I can't wait to see him settled in. Yeah, really excited actually.
Yeah, and sort of just touching on that a little bit here as well, is that you guys had a lot of close losses, 2 overtime losses, and another, I think it was a 7-5 against like LFO, for example. You had quite a few games there that just that flip of the coin, a couple of little things go your way, and you're very comfortably then in playoffs. So to know that you guys were that close to playoffs, then you pick up someone like Josh, who's just been franking out. He looks like a great fit. It kind of just gives you that confidence, I guess, going forward to know, okay, we've got something here that we can build on.
Yeah, we really earned our spot. Like you said, those games like against LFO or Sinister, like really close, and we could have won a few extra maps, and then all of a sudden we're top 4. But Arlo really proved his worth. Man, the Zofia LMG, that'll just go down in history. But I mean, Josh is equally as good as that, if not better, which is not to say the least of Arlo. He's really good. So like, yeah, I really don't know what to say. Like, we did quite well this season, even though we did lose out on a lot of maps that we should have taken, but we're still happy with that at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to see you in good spirits, and you guys took it right up to Wildcard, especially on Villa. Best of luck going forward in the future for you guys as a team.
Thanks, Xenox. Thanks, Devmata. Nice to see you around.
Always, mate. Oh, that was good. You made the perfect point. It was good to see when he came up. He had a smile on his face, because last time, like, it almost like broke my heart when you could see how crushed he was and his team was because of that loss against Akami and what it meant for them. And in the end, it kind of played out to fruition how we thought it would.
I get really invested in these interviews and these players. Like when you see a player is just so disappointed with their performance, it's tough. Like the night when Spruce lost 0-2 to whichever team, or 2 weeks ago or whatever, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Seeing Strider after a loss, it's heartbreaking. Digital as well when Elevate struggled. So it's just fantastic to see that, look, the pressure is finally off. Knights no longer have that question hanging over their heads about whether they're going to make playoffs. They gave it their best. They didn't make it this time. Now it's an opportunity for them to sit back and just knuckle down into getting ready for next season.
Let's go have a look and just sort of recap things as we look towards the schedule that played out today. 2 2-0s, one going in favor of Sinister against Ferox, the other, of course, Wildcard against Pittsburgh Knights. Really not too much of a surprise. There were a few that might have thought Ferox could steal one away from Sinister, but they, of course, didn't need anything from that series against Sinister. Bit of a dead rubber, especially now that we know the results between Wildcard and Pittsburgh Knights, Dev.
Yeah, and it makes it ever so more exciting for tomorrow night, because whoever wins out of Ferox and LFO, whoever gets more rounds or more maps and then more rounds will make it up. So at the moment, it's a bit deceiving, because we're saying, oh, Pittsburgh Knights can't make top 4. Well, they are in 4th at the moment. But remember, LFO and Ferox sitting right underneath them, they're both playing, right? So there are 3 possibilities. Either Ferox wins 2-0 and gets 6 points, LFO wins 2-0 and gets 6 points, or they both win, and then we have a 3-way tie on 18 points between Knights, Ferox, and LFO, in which case the order would be Ferox, Knights, LFO, based on round difference, probably. Actually, I don't know. It gets more complicated than that. There's another level. If LFO has more rounds than Ferox, then maybe they can get through. But I'm going to leave that to the admins, because that's when you start getting really in details, and I've learned not to do maths on broadcast, Xenox.
Well, I mean, but Elevate don't play tomorrow, so why would they go through?
LFO. I said LFO.
Oh, I thought you said Elevate. Okay, yeah, okay.
No.
Okay.
No, not
look,
Elevate.
We spent like an hour beforehand. I think we both kind of understand. Look, you spelled it out perfectly. You really did. Pat on the back for yourself, Dev. It's as simple as that. LFO get a 2-0, they go through. Ferox get a 2-0, they go through. Ferox get one map, they go through. Like, that's basically how it's going to play out, right? So we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that Ferox had the best chance of going through, and that's basically why. They didn't need anything really from Sinister, because if, let's say, they had have got a one map against Sinister, they would have been on, what, 18 as well, and then LFO 2-0 them, well, then that map didn't matter, right? So, and the same thing actually if they had got two maps, because then technically if LFO were to have 2-0'd Ferox tomorrow night,
head-to-head.
the tiebreaker. Yeah. So you could really see there wasn't too much on the line in that Sinister match, besides sort of just that, you know, winning mentality, that pride and glory and all of the
There's one thing. There's one tiny little case in which case it would have mattered is if Ferox got one map against Sinister and then LFO and Ferox draw one map, but LFO has the round advantage. Ferox would still go through because they would be on more points. So it's still possible that if LFO and Ferox draw tomorrow, but LFO won more rounds than Ferox, then we're going to have a three-way tie with a little bit of a love triangle between the three teams, all fighting for fourth place, and there's going to be no clear winner about which one should go through, at which point I would go in and talk to the admins because that's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to just leave it there for tonight. Tomorrow night, two of my favorite guys are going to be back on. Guz and Raven will bring you the action for the final play day. After that, me and Dev should be back for the playoffs. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.
Attackers have dropped the 10 seconds remaining.
No thoughts left in my head. My mind's not mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It beats for you. It beats again. Oh, you bring